Hello. What's up? Welcome to the Breakdown Culture number 7. Is it number 7?
Yeah.
Okay, you all looked really confused. So, yeah, number 7. This week we've got some news coming to you from a bit of an update on Decapitated. We've got some news from Tool and Mastodon teaming up, doing a supergroup. Some stuff from Marilyn Manson, Neck Deep, and Tom Delonge with his tinfoil hat. And the new listens, we've got some album reviews coming up this week from August Burns Red, Marilyn Manson, the Black Dahlia Murder, and 36 Crazyfists. And I'm also going to be reviewing gigs that I went to from Arcane Roots.
Okay.
And Peter.
Oh yeah, I forgot you went to that.
Yeah. That's good. And then our topic this week is going to be discussing, well, it's not really going to be a debate this time, it's going to be a sort of history lesson of the 70's and 80's and the development of rock and metal, how it sort of began, its roots, and
how it evolved.
Yeah. And then we're going to build into next episode, do the 90's and the noughties. So
yeah,
I think that's the plan. So then the game this week is going to be ska. And has anyone got any ska punk, or is it just?
I've got ska punk.
I've got ska punk.
All right, okay. I've missed the memo there. Right. We're going to be taking a look at Rob's All Killer from last week, which was Chuck by Sum 41. And then I believe it's your turn this week, Whiskey.
Yes, it is.
So, anyone know what it is?
No
idea. All
Complete
right.
surprise.
Okay.
Well, I had 3 to choose from, so.
Cool. We're a new setting this week, so if you hear any like banging around, sorry about the beer sounds. Yeah. Oh God, that is ridiculous, isn't it?
Don't worry about it. Put it on the goddamn floor.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with it then. So. I'm afraid to say it's going to be a bit of a depressing one news-wise again this week.
Yeah,
a
bit dark and morbid again.
So we said we would do an update on the whole situation with Decapitated, and it looks like we've got one at this point. And this comes out today. Was it today this was reported?
No, a couple of days ago I think it was.
Right. They've pled not guilty. Obviously we sort of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I did it! Just to recap the situation, they were accused of... where was it this happened? They were accused of gang rape, which was awful.
Yeah,
rape and kidnap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They all got charged. They all got charged with it a couple of days ago, and they pleaded guilty recently.
Because it was only 2 of them, I think, got...
All 4 of them.
No, all 4.
Yeah,
all 4 formally charged.
But
Yeah.
I did read the other day that they were actually going to try and post their bail, which is a
million.
Yeah.
Was it like
no?
a million?
It was 100,000 each.
100,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's an obscene amount of money.
Yeah.
They're
They're not allowed to talk to each other.
No.
whilst,
No, that's
they're
right.
Sort of
Yeah.
incarcerated.
being kept separate, and I read somewhere that the lawyers said they have witnesses who can dispute the woman's accusations.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still developing, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I believe it's in December the trial's going to be. I've got the date somewhere, but December the 18th is going to be the trial. So
Okay, well we should probably not bring this up anymore until
I
then.
mean, as horrible as it sounds, I'm actually interested to see how this trial goes, because at this point nobody really knows anything for certain. But the fact that they've actually been charged with it, really, like,
Yeah.
how much more can you say at this point?
yeah, it's one of these situations where unfortunately nothing good can really come of it. Really,
No.
there's no good positive outcome whether or not they're innocent or guilty. It's going to be one of these situations where their name is tarnished at this point.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It's a massive shame. As we said, we weren't going to cover it too much. We just wanted to give a bit of an update on the story. So I think whilst we're on the topic of this dark side to this, we'll move on to Twiggy from Marilyn Manson has been sort of removed from his band, which is a shame due to some rape allegations from Jessica Adams from Jack Off Jill. So this came out a few days ago, and she posted a very lengthy statement on her Facebook page about sort of what this was.
But what went down? It's like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
She's held this in. So
Yeah.
she put out a big statement saying she's had to live with the guilt and shame of all this.
Yeah.
That's gone on for so many years, and now she feels comfortable and strong enough to let the world know
Yeah.
just what went down back then.
Well, judging from her statement, she was basically just told to keep it quiet, wasn't she? Or she'd
She'd lose the record
she'd
deal.
lose her record deal because
Yeah.
nobody would take her seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a male-dominated sort of industry, she felt like she couldn't really speak up.
I find
But-
this, that brings me to a point. I find this interesting that, have any of you guys seen what's been going on in Hollywood with the whole, is it Harvey?
Yeah.
Henry? Or Henry Harvey? Weinstein? Or
Yeah, I mean,
Weinstein?
you can't really escape it, this one, because it's
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
news.
So I'm not sure how it started or who first sort of said a story about being sort of victimised by. This is a massive Hollywood movie making giant that's got a lot of power in the industry, and ever since then there's just been so many stories. Like over 50 women have come out saying that he's done things or whatever.
Oh, sure.
And then the hashtag on
Me-
Twitter.
Me Too.
Hashtag Me Too.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like with stuff like this, it's good that it's encouraged people to have the confidence to tell their stories.
Yeah.
Because how this one in particular looks to me is this. It's funny that this happens whilst this is going on in like mainstream media with the Weinstein
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's given people the courage to talk about sexual assault.
Yeah. Well,
allegations.
once the first few come forward,
Yeah.
then obviously others feel like they're not alone
Yeah.
anymore, and then it's like floodgates are
Safety
kind
in
of open.
numbers
Like,
sort of situation.
yeah, it's like going back to the Jimmy Savile incident. Once that all came out, there were just vast numbers of people coming forward.
Well, it's because when
Afterwards.
it's such a prominent public figure,
Mhm.
I can only assume that you're going to feel like, well, what can you do? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got the impression that a lot of these celebrities feel that telling their story is a big risk of tarnishing their career. So the whole fact that everyone else has been talking about it gives them the strength and the comfort to be like, well, you know what? It's not hurt all these people. It's not tarnished their career like the record labels have suggested it would.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable in talking about this now. So.
Yeah.
And however, on the flip side of the hashtag thing, when something becomes a big sensationalized story, you then get the opposite side of the spectrum where people take it, they want to be part of this. And I've seen a lot of celebrities and just people in general on Twitter talking about just times where people have been rude to them and times that they've been like catcalled, and that's a whole debate in itself.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that that's okay, but it seems to be that you've got
But there are different levels to
Yeah. and I find that can be a little bit disrespectful that people are trying to
jump on it
yeah
with not so serious issues.
Yeah.
And a sort of diluting.
yeah
Like diluting.
there's a
it bit.
difference between something really serious that's like life changing, like a situation like this, but like the decapitated situation, we hope that it's not true, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
It's
So
even scary to think that,
this is Twiggy Ramirez of
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson's band.
yeah
He's been taken off the next tour. Interestingly, Marilyn Manson did say at the end of the tweet, I wish him well, which
Yeah,
is like,
well, I just think that's a very polite way of saying we hope that if this is true that you get some
that's
help.
him separating
Yeah, he's distancing himself from it. Yeah.
from everything. So
That's got to be, behind the scenes, a very big and difficult situation because he's been with the Marilyn Manson camp for like 20 years or something.
Yeah,
at this point,
yeah.
So.
yeah, it wouldn't have been a decision Manson would have made lightly anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's the right decision to have made, though,
Yeah.
given the circumstances.
Well, he apparently said that Manson himself said that he knew nothing about these allegations until very recently,
Yeah,
and that he was very saddened by Jessica's obvious distress. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see what happens, but hopefully everyone's okay.
yeah.
Let's try. Well, actually, we haven't really got anything too positive news-wise, but let's move on to Tom DeLonge.
yeah,
Yeah.
So just
Well, there's something maybe not positive or negative. It's just
Interesting.
Fucking
it's
ridiculous.
something interesting.
It's interesting, but it's fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
let's cover something non-rape related.
Okay, go on, Lise.
Right, well,
What do you think? Yeah.
well, from what I can gather,
Hang about, back up. We haven't even said the story. Is this you about to explain
Yeah.
the story, or are you about
Yeah.
to rant on it?
No, I will explain the story
Go.
from what I can gather from what I've just witnessed on that fucking video. Tom DeLonge has gathered up a group of scientists and wants to explore the universe find alien life.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, right? No, there's nothing wrong with that in itself.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's what NASA does. That's a government-funded...
Conspiracy, mate.
It's not a conspiracy. They are...
NASA's not
Is he
real.
not allowed to want to? You know, people that don't work for NASA not allowed to want to learn about these things.
Go work for Elon Musk. He's doing it as well.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, these are people who are dedicating like billions and billions into the scientific research of the universe and alien life and whatever else. These are people who have managed to make like an ion thrust engine which could propel people to Mars for fuck all fuel and in less time than a conventional engine would. And now you've got Tom DeLonge going, yeah, I'll help.
Right.
Yeah, but that's all good. More
It-
the
it's-
merrier, man.
The thing, right? Most people go Tom DeLonge and they just think about Blink-182. Where are you? And like, they think of the dick jokes and how silly that was, and he's a musician. But
It's
reminds
not even that. It's just he's. I get that he's interested in it. I get
Yeah,
that,
it's
that
just
he
been
wants
going on
to
for
do
a while,
it.
hasn't
Yeah,
it?
but
So-
it's just he. Realistically, what can he bring to the table? What scientific background has he got?
He can generate interest of a wider audience. That's all he can really do.
He can't
I think.
do anything else.
I think that's all. He can get people like us interested.
He
But that's
can't.
and that's it. Well, we're talking about it right now, so
I've already signed up. I want to be on his spaceship.
that's all he can
Rob's
do.
going to go home.
So he's like the celebrity face on it that
yeah.
Yeah,
is
except
going to
it's just
draw people in to what
he wants to do what he seems to think that space agencies around the world can't do. He seems to think that he's the one guy that can be able to do it. And I can't
he
remember-
wants,
I don't know
he
if
wants
you
to
can.
fast track this spaceship
Yeah.
to find...
It sounds like a fucking cult.
It does.
Let me just read a little bit of how the article puts this. So, Tom DeLonge seeks investors to help company engineer the fabric of space-time. So that sounds a bit mental just reading that from the top. So he's got his company called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science.
Before you go any further, can I just say, can you remember a few years back
Yeah.
when he posted that video online? It was basically just him in his dressing gown,
Yeah.
saying about how like he'd been communicating with aliens. He wanted to go and find them.
Yeah.
All he's done now is he's put
Yeah.
out another video, except he's not wearing a dressing gown. He's wearing clothes.
He's backed by a few scientists.
Yeah, I mean, the thing,
Right.
what you're describing to me sounds like, because I, to anyone at face value, seeing a video like that would just go, right, mate, you've just spent too long on YouTube. You need to chill the fuck out and put some clothes on, have a wash, you know.
Take the tinfoil hat off.
But this has been going on for so long that obviously this isn't like a sellout situation. This is obviously a genuine passion of his. And if you watch the video, the way he describes it does seem very fascinating. But we wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, that's my point.
This,
Yeah.
this is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is like there
I
are
talk
plenty
about
of
this shit all the time.
well, yeah, but not on this podcast.
No, because it'd be irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's nothing will ever come of this.
Hmm.
This will die a death, and everyone will forget that it ever happened.
It looked very professional.
I don't give a
His
shit how
advert.
professional it looked.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, the top comment on the YouTube video said, "So there's no new Boxcar Racer albums coming out then?"
That's what we're here for.
Didn't Blink write a song called Aliens Exist?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh, ah.
The
Right.
plot thickens.
Okay. What date did they release that song?
Oh, fuck knows. It was an early one.
Yeah. So I need to go back and read the lyrics. I wonder if there's any hidden messages in there.
I'm gonna fucking just flip this tape.
Maybe it's the design for his spaceship hidden in that song somewhere.
Give it 6 months, he'll be talking about how the Earth is flat.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Right.
I watched
Well,
a cracking
obviously we
Flat
know
Earth
it is.
documentary.
I don't want to know. It makes me genuinely
I-
fucking angry.
It wasn't out of one. It was sort of forced on me, but it was. Yeah, I don't know.
What's next?
Yeah. Anyway, next, let's talk about Neck Deep in Nottingham.
Yes.
Ah, a bit fisticuffs.
Bit of a yeah, a bit of fisticuffs,
Yeah.
eh? So who saw the video on this then?
I saw the video.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few videos, but
I only saw the one video.
so what did you see?
Well, the whole thing came about when the security was assaulting people as they crowd surf over, is what the story was. But I didn't see that happen from the video I watched. What I did see was the neck deep bassist take his bass off and start kicking dudes right down the front, and then it's all kicked off from there. And they stopped the show, and there's a lot of kicking going on from the band, and the security guards trying to push them back and stuff like that.
It just looked like it escalated and got out of hand very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where supposedly, obviously before the videos are on, because everyone's going to pull their phone out and start filming when something dramatic's happening.
If they wasn't already.
Yeah. Apparently the security were very heavy-handed with the fans, and a couple of people crowd surfed, and one of the security staff were just slamming them down to the floor. I think in any normal situation, if a band saw this happening, they would react the same way.
They would.
They would. Yeah, they would. I mean, this is what
Start kicking people.
Kicking the security, going mental at the security. In that situation, if you're a band and you see your security staff throwing fans to the floor, trying to purposely hurt them, I think they would react on that same way. And in that, if that's true, then I'm on the band side for that. Maybe a kick to the head is a bit far.
Yeah,
but
I
in the heat of the
disagree.
moment,
I mean, I'm sure there's other bands that will just stop.
Yeah.
And go, this is not on. What are you doing? Maybe kicking someone in the head's a bit far, but neck deep are like passionate about their fans, and if they're seeing them getting thrown to the floor, then that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, without any of us being there, like we don't really know. It's one of those situations. I think I spoke a few weeks back about when I saw Lower Than Atlantis, and the security guards kind of chucked this girl, and they all ran off and started fighting the security guard. But regardless, 99% of security guards at gigs understand the community, understand rock and metal, understand the nature of crowd surfing and how to behave, and they get it. So this sounds like
they went a bit too far.
Well, one security guard, like this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the security guard by the sounds of it, but this sounds like one person out of a mostly positive majority of people that are there to look after your safety. Like once you're in that building, that is their job, is to protect you, to look after you, make sure everyone has a good time. So I don't hear stuff like this happen very often.
No.
So we're fortunate in that way. But I do find it interesting that they cut the show and that the band hasn't put out a statement or anything
They have.
about it. Oh, they have now.
They did put a statement out.
Okay.
Basically what we just said about that behaviour is not acceptable, and we just want you to have a good time. We want you to feel safe at our shows. This is a 1 in a million chance this is going to happen at any of our shows. And it's just unfortunate that it did, and they have now rescheduled a show for Nottingham. Yeah.
Oh, so they're allowing them back and banned them.
Yeah.
Haven't banned them from the venue or anything.
No. I'm sure the security guard probably got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, apparently the police are involved, and there's an ongoing investigation
really?
now with this security guard to see what happened, and they're sort of interviewing the sort of victims, because apparently there's quite a few people that did actually get hurt by security.
Really?
So yeah, it's an ongoing sort of situation.
So I've never been hurt by any of the security guards.
No, never.
No.
I mean, even at download, when there's like masses of people and jump the fence, then
They're a bit stricter at download.
They'll grab your arm hard and then like push you out, but that's about it.
It's like I say, without any of us knowing, I'm not going to sit here and say one of the band members kicked the back of the head because they saw something. Before that video, they could have got handled, the band members could have got handled themselves. There's so many variables in a high pressure situation.
You just don't
like that.
know, do you?
Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and judge them for it.
No.
But good on them for rescheduling and putting out statements. I think it took a little while. They didn't say much for the first few days. So
Yeah. Are they quite young? Neck deep?
Yeah.
They're quite young, man. Yeah, they were probably...
about our age, like sort of
Yeah,
late
they were,
20s.
they were probably just waiting to be advised on what course of action to take.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days, draft up a statement, roll it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's isolated, these kind of incidents.
Not seen that at Nottingham before, anyway.
Nah, no.
The amount of gigs we've been to there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually sound, like, really good. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What
Well,
other news?
we've got some stuff from Tool and Mastodon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've got a new supergroup.
Well, these guys formed in 2015 originally.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
The Legend of the Seagull Men.
Yeah.
What?
That's what they call it.
Yeah, they're called
Yeah.
the Legend of the Seagull now.
Very
I've got it.
It's very nautical, apparently, all of it.
Have they put any music out yet?
I've heard 2 tracks, yeah.
No, I've not heard any. Right.
I've got to say, coming from Tool and Mastodon, I was surprisingly bored.
Oh, really?
Was not what I was expecting. However, you're in Tool, you're in Mastodon. Do you need to go and do a side project? Not
No,
really.
not when Tool should be sorting their own shit out.
Yeah, exactly. So this isn't the end of the world to me that I didn't enjoy it that much. But they've so it's Brent Hines from Mastodon and Danny Carey from Tool, and there's a band called Off who I haven't heard before called Dimitri Coast is the bassist, and they've put out some music and they've announced a New Year's Eve show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their first show.
The Oakland Fox Theatre.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's Brent got time for this?
Busy dude. He just got married as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Crazy.
Mad as shit.
I'm just thinking, like, was it him that was on the CKY thing?
It was, yeah.
They've just had the EP.
Yeah.
They're touring.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
had an album as well.
Yeah.
Busy to creative dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of CKY, just a little quick mention. They've announced another UK tour with.
Skin Dread.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
Skindred. And I think I'm game for that.
Yeah,
I'm going for that.
So,
Day after
yeah.
Andrew WK.
That'd be a-
so-
It's going to be the
That'd be a
day
double
after
date, wouldn't it?
Andrew WK
we're
in
gonna
Norwich.
be so
Yeah.
hungover.
We're going to be ill.
And yeah, we might be too hungover to go see CKY. But
Nah.
oh, sorry.
You will be, boy.
But they're a busy band at the moment. They've just done Warped Tour after the UK tour, and then now they've just started off the big run of shows with him in America, which is
Is
their
it
second
CKY?
one. Yeah. And then they're doing, I think, the beginning of next year, like a European tour, and then that tour. So they're really hitting it
Wow.
hard. They're like
Oh, good on them.
taking any time off.
Good album, though.
And they were away for a long time, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
It's good that they're coming back strong, and they did come back strong with that album, and they're just touring the shit
And,
out of it
the
now.
fact that they're happy to be on the main support for tours rather than headlining.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move, to be fair.
it's good exposure.
Yeah.
Especially with a band like Skindred. Like, You're
Yeah.
going to have a lot of people who probably haven't heard CKY before, but are now going to be exposed to them because it is a band of that calibre.
Ironically, I think the first show I went to when I don't know how old I was, but I was really young at the UEA, was CKY, and I want to say Skindred supported them.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I'd never seen or heard of Skindred, and I was like, this is mental. Yeah, and I guess like live music was mental because it was a new thing for me,
Yeah.
like in terms of like big shows. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be exciting. Any other little mentions at all?
Oh, we got While She Sleeps,
While
who
She
just
Sleeps
announced
done.
another tour.
Yeah, no, but was it European? Just European tour?
European and a few UK dates.
Yeah.
And that Architects
That's
show
one of the dates, yeah.
is one of, like, in the middle.
Oh, right, okay.
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
Ali
yeah,
Pali
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They
that's.
just don't stop, do they?
So what, are they touring with Architects all the way around that? Or
No, that
I don't think
that
so.
that particular date had like a star next to it on the poster.
Oh, okay,
And
just
it's
a-
like support to
Oh, it's just
architects,
part
but
of the
it happens to be sandwiched right in the middle of the tour. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's gonna be great.
Busy,
Um,
busy
yeah, some pretty
guys.
good, pretty big venues for While She Sleeps.
Yeah.
You've got the Ritz in Manchester. I think it's like the Academy in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, all the O2 ones.
yeah, all the
aren't
O2 ones. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Well, it's the logical move for them, I think. I mean, the venues they've played recently have been quite small, really.
yeah,
Probably too small for While She Sleeps.
Yeah, at this point.
the
yeah.
waterfront was too small for them.
they?
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good.
That was very
good
good.
for us, but for them, like
Yeah.
they could be doing bigger venues definitely.
Yeah, and I
I
think
mean, you know that venue's packed when the ceiling starts sweating.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's just always like that. Even on a Saturday night, I saw a tweet earlier that said, "Describe your city in 4 words." And then, going to the waterfront tonight. Wait, going waterfront tonight. No, going to the waterfront tonight. That's 4 words, not 5 words. Which is all I ever hear in Norwich. Is you go to the waterfront tonight? Yeah. And it's
What's the-
always sweaty whenever I go there.
What's the club night there?
Propaganda on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They've got all sorts. The last time I went there randomly, it was like one of those like cyber goth nights. It was awful.
moved from Hades bar.
Man,
Fuck, yeah.
it was
All
it
four
was
people in there.
It was pretty bad. Pam's house. That's what it is.
Traumatised on that.
Pam's house.
Pam's house.
Sorry, any goth girl ravers out there. Like, you
There's
love-
none of them listening to this.
I think I know one. Wow, diversify. Right, let's get onto our reviews then.
Should we go with some industrial-based music
Yes.
for our first one?
Yeah,
Okay,
whatever.
cool.
All right. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
What have we got?
Okay, is Heaven Upside Down. I'm gonna let Leesky. Well, I'm gonna let anyone start really, but I'm interested to hear what you think about it. Because I saw you tweet about it, but just the name of the song, so I'm not sure where you stand
I was
on it.
very, very pleasantly surprised by this album. I've never been a huge Manson fan. I like the odd song. I can't say I've ever sat and listened to an album all the way through in one go. I've always gone back to albums and like listened to bits of it. I've listened to this album, I don't know, 3-4 times now, and it seems like a really nice mix of old Manson and his newer stuff. Like the opening tracks, Revelation number 12.
Yeah, I like that song. Yeah.
I think that wouldn't sound out of place on his last album, which was, it didn't
Pale
really
Emperor.
It
Emperor,
didn't really sound like a Manson album, that one. It was
It
a
was
very mature album. And I think a lot of the songs on this album wouldn't actually sound out of place on that, but then you have got a lot of industrial sounding stuff on there as well.
Yeah.
Like Satan is a fucking incredible song.
That was the one that I pointed out. There was these like huge stomps with like just these wails of reverb that come in behind it, like
Yeah.
these swells. And that was actually probably one of my favourite songs on the album, actually, Satan.
Yeah, I like
Which
that.
apparently was going to be the name of the album originally. So is it his 10th album?
I don't know.
I think it might be.
I was looking on Spotify earlier,
Yeah.
and he's like, there's a long list. I didn't count them, but
I think it was originally the working title was Say 10, and then obviously Satan. That's the whole thing. But
okay.
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic song. I think the second track, Tattooed in Reverse,
Awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's an absolutely
very
fantastic
cool,
song.
like slow, drawn out.
Yeah.
That was a great
Vibe.
song to pole dance to. What? Wait. I should probably point out that my housemate has a pole, as does my girlfriend, and my housemate was pole dancing to that song, and I totally got why she was doing it, because when you hear it, it's like, and my girlfriend said the same thing. Like, Marilyn Manson is great strip music.
You weren't
I wasn't
Pole
watching.
dancing.
I wasn't pole dancing.
right. Okay.
Although I did help her put the pole up. So
That's fine.
yeah.
If you're a pole dancer, that's fine.
Yeah. Next time you listen to Marilyn Manson, if you're a pole dancer listening, you'll see where I'm coming from. It works.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. carry on. I liked that song.
Brilliant. What else stood out for me? Is it Saturnalia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely fantastic. The one song on there that didn't really like too much was Jesus Crisis.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, really?
Absolutely fucking couldn't stand it.
Oh.
God,
I think I'm a Robert here.
oh, so, okay, well let's go
I
on then, mate.
I found the chorus to be really cringy.
Yeah, lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know, because
I
he
write
was talking
songs to
about.
fuck and to
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
Manson.
It's all
If
about
you-
fucking fighting, doing lines of
Nah.
coke,
Yeah.
and just fucking.
No,
Snow
white
White-
powder.
Yeah.
It's so cringe.
It's
good.
Marilyn fucking Manson.
Yeah, it just
That's what I want to hear from him.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know, I just thought the chorus was really cringy. I was expecting more from a song
Yeah.
with the title of Jesus Crisis from Manson. I think as the song went on, it got better. But that chorus,
Yeah, it's like
I like
if you don't want to fight, I'll make up your mind for you or something. I was just
it's
okay. So on that topic,
that was just the low point.
because
for
I'm
me,
not
that
really
album.
I'm not really that well versed with Marilyn Manson, but my opinion is that I like some of the songs on here and I like some of the work that he's done over the years, but I feel like a lot of the times his celebrity kind of like surpasses the music and the quality of it, because he's such a known figure because of all the controversy. But on this, I'm not sure if it's because I'm a bit older now, but I don't feel like any of this is really pushing buttons or like he's prodding at any of the I mean,
I
this
was
is
thinking this on the way here.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to it on the way here.
like, if you take into consideration right now we live in a super sensitive society where everyone's offended by everything. You'd think that he would want to go that route and be controversial and just annoy people.
He's not
Like,
really in like the whole shock rock thing anymore. Though,
Yeah.
is he? It's like, I think
and I think he sings about that a little bit.
it's,
in this,
it's
but-
more his image, I think, that causes that
yeah.
controversy. Like, you look at when he's done like he's given speeches on like anti-religion and stuff. Was that the MTV Music Awards where he did that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it
And a lot of his music videos and stuff, he's got like upside down crosses painted on his forehead and stuff like that. Looking back, it's not really so much of his music that has done that. His music's just been really fucking weird. I mean, he has had like some very anti-religious music in there, don't get me wrong. And again, it's just for the shock value. He doesn't really seem to have that.
He's toned himself down a little bit now, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like, because he's what, in his 50s now,
Yeah.
isn't he? I feel it's just a little bit, and I think that's the whole idea of him singing those lyrics at that age, and it's like, I've just sort of contradicted myself, because I said stuff like that cringes me out, but then at the same time, I sort of want something that's a bit edgier and a bit more offensive because of like the world we live in now, and we need someone like that, whereas there's so much watered down music at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'd be quite alright with him saying some fucking sketchy shit.
Then on that album as well, you've got is it Blood Honey?
Yeah.
That's quite a dark song. But yeah, I'll shut up. Like, why don't you say something?
Well, I've got down pretty much everything you just said. To be fair, is almost a perfect balance of old stuff and new stuff. Like from Pale Emperor, nearly as far back as Mechanical Animals.
Mm.
You know, and like the tracks like Television Verse, Say 10 will fit nicely in the classic Manson set.
Yeah.
So
I think he's really hit the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah.
Like, he's done his career some favours.
Yeah, definitely. He's made himself a bit more credible. I think people started to think of him as a bit of a joke, actually.
Well, after that download set, that we
Yeah.
saw, then
Well, yeah, it sounds like a bit of an upward trajectory, because that last album was quite good as well. I forgot the name of it now.
Pale Emperor.
Pale Emperor. Yeah, I didn't mind that. It was much more kind of very rhythmic and sort of tribal sounding in terms of like the percussion and not too guitar based, but very dark and stompy. And the last song on this album, I can't remember what it's called. It was kind of like a little bit bluesy inspired as well.
Yeah.
Which I quite liked. So yeah, I think there's a couple of songs that I'll go back to it.
It's quite a slow and chilled out
Yeah.
album almost. Like it's quite. I was
But
getting
I've never
quite a
heard
mellow,
him do otherwise. Really, that's
like
the thing.
like fight song.
Oh, okay. I suppose. Yeah.
Ones like that. that
It's
are
not really
like-
an overtly heavy album, this one, is it?
No, it's not
Yes.
heavy. It's not heavy at all, really. But it doesn't matter that much that it's not. It's just.
it seems like he's turned the distortion down on all
Yeah.
the guitars.
Yeah.
And everything's just that little bit.
Like I'm
little bit
thinking.
cleaner.
I'm thinking like Beautiful People.
Yeah.
Those kind of real upbeat, heavier, in your face kind of songs. But being 50, is he realistically going to be doing stuff like that ever again now?
I will say though that his vocals on this album, where he's almost whispering instead of saying, that is really quite sinister.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Yeah, see, I remember hearing that going, yeah, I feel like this wants to be a little bit creepy, but it's not creeping me out. And that's when I started thinking, am I just a little bit too old for this now? Like, I remember hearing this kind of stuff when I was like a young teenager, being like, oh god, this is a bit like, ooh, this makes me uncomfortable.
I remember when I heard the Dope Show and saw that
Yeah.
video when I was like 15. I was like, fuck, that's weird as shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Anyway, but sorry, carry on with your point.
well, no, I was going to say, like, there doesn't seem to be anything like the fight song or anything like that. I don't see him doing anything like that now.
I don't think he's going for that vibe.
No, he
No.
isn't. But where he is, like, where he's taking his vocals and he is whispering and he is sounding quite dark, I think he's still got that side to it. But I think musically it's just going in a slightly different direction.
Yeah.
It still sounds like a Marilyn Manson album, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely Manson album. Just maybe he's like you said, like older and wants to do something slightly different.
Mellowin Manson.
Mellow Manson. But it's still good. What did you give it?
I'd give it a 7.
I went 8. 8 Bs.
Wow.
8 Bs.
Oh, I'm like 6.
I'm 6.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
nearly went 5, but 6. Yeah, I guess 6.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah, I like this one.
fairly alright.
Yeah. Well, tough cookies, I suppose. Right, shall we get to August Burns Red?
Yes.
With Phantom Anthem.
Let's do it.
Fisher, you lead the way with this one.
All right.
Because I think you're the biggest fan of this band here. By the seems of it.
Yeah, these are really up my street, August Burns Reds. I like this album. Going back, August Burns Red, they do fit in with what I listen to a lot, but they're a little bit more unconventional, i.e. the odd time signatures kind of, well, to use the term bibbly. But they are a little bit odd, and they can be a little bit much to wrap your head around at times. This is about half sort of regular, typical metalcore, half the kind of weirdness as well.
Yes,
so
spot on. Yeah.
I thought it began really strong. King of Sorrow, I was getting huge God Forbid vibes from that, like real Constitution of Treason. Like God Forbid's album. Yeah, really very much like that. Just kind of upbeat riffing, cool breakdowns, had like a good mellow section in the middle, and then builds up again and then drops again, and they kind of take you on this cool journey. Then into Hero of Half Truth, more sounding like August Burns Red with the fiddly guitars, erratic kind of time signatures, and then just huge breakdown at the end. Yeah, just sounds fucking huge as well.
Yeah, production is great on this album.
Yeah, goes into the Frost, which is like this clean 4/4 intro, which I thought was really cool. Had a really nice bit of lead work. It wasn't one of the heavier tracks. I think it was like the second single.
Right.
But yeah, had some really nice lead work on that. Which actually flows throughout the album. Like I think some of the lead guitar work on this is fucking awesome. Very clever, very intricate. Yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. There are bits in this album where I sort of fade out and lose a bit of interest. It just doesn't seem to go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah.
For me, just an outright kind of odd at times.
Yeah.
And I just
With that
just
though,
kinda
I
lose
think
interest.
they kind of counter that. There'll be a I don't want to say dull, but a slower bit, and then suddenly something will kick in. And you're like, oh shit, that's really good.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like a balance.
Yeah.
See, I found that going back through their back catalogue, they do the mellow stuff really, really well, and the heavier stuff really well, and they complement each other really nicely. But on this, the mellow stuff on this album is just kind of boring. It kind of bored me.
I really like the mellow stuff.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that
That's
actually.
Because they've written some stuff that's real like Spanish influenced,
Yeah.
real like
that last album.
that,
there was
like-
a lot of that.
yeah, or using that scale, and it just sounds like epic. But this is just a bit flat for me in places. But there were some definite highlights on here. Dangerous was one that was huge. My personal favourite was Quake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put this one out to me. This was actually my least favourite
Quake.
song.
I loved Quake because it fits in with the Lamb of God Killswitch kind of style, As I Lay Dying, that regular format. Like this is just a very traditionally written metal song where it's like verse, kind of chorus breakdown.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
easy to follow with
bridge.
that guitar.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
very
Yeah.
easy to follow, very easy to absorb. It's just got a real catchy hook. That kind of
that kind of
like it's
reminded me
like a
of-
jig.
That reminded me about Ailstorm.
Yeah, it's that bottom kind of folky, upbeat, uplifting, kind of cheesy lead guitar bit. But it's them two breakdowns. Like the first one hits you fucking hard, and you're like, wow. And then once you're just about getting over that, they hit you with a second breakdown that's even heavier, and it's like, holy fucking shit. That's impressive, very very impressive. Yeah. So ultimately, a few gems in here,
Yeah.
but quite a bit of flat stuff as well going on. So
I mean, I've never been a fan of this band.
sure.
It's just not something I've ever really been able to get into, and I can't say I've ever sat and listened to a whole album. I've heard
They're not easy to get. They're not overly easy to get into.
they're clearly very good at what they do, but I actually preferred the mellower stuff.
Yeah.
I think that actually that really shows off how talented they are, because it's not just the contrast between the heavier stuff and the more mellow stuff. I just think it's so well written and it fits together so well. I mean, like, the only track on the album that really stood out to me was is it The Frost?
Yeah.
It's the only track that stood out to me while I was listening to it. I've listened to it a couple of times and it's just...
There we go. There's that bit. I like it when that happens.
It's... You're right, it is a lot to take in. There is so much going on. It is very bibbly.
Yes.
We've had wibbly wibbly, fiddly fiddly, and bibbly bibbly.
It is very bibbly. They're a very bibbly band.
He
Bibbly
is
bibbly.
up and down. He is up and down that
Biblical.
fretboard a lot. He's
Yeah.
showing off his skills.
Yeah.
He's fucking talented, the guitarist.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad album. It just, for me, it wasn't particularly anything special. Like, it's not particularly memorable.
It has its moments for me, man. Like I think there's some gems in it. First two songs, Quake and Dangerous, definitely 4.
What was the song they released as the first single?
Invisible Enemy. Oh yeah,
Invisible
that's
Enemy,
not bad. That's not a bad track.
I didn't like it.
No.
I didn't like it at all.
The Frost has some cool bits. Generations has a really cool middle section. I don't know if you were getting that. Yeah. What was I getting? Lacks a bit of conviction, I felt at times. Like just that flatness. Whereas like it just in certain songs it just felt that was my foot.
Because it was just as you leave.
Leather sofas, goddammit. There were parts where I thought, okay, this could be building to something, and
We made such a deal out of it, we can't edit that out.
It's gone too far now.
Go on,
there
Karen.
were just some parts where I thought this could be building. Like in Generations, it kind of goes a bit heavy, then mellow, then heavy again. You get that contrast. But there's a track, I think it's Coordinates.
Yep.
It just fucking bored me so much, and I was like, oh, it just was like dragging on, and that happened like a few times throughout this album, and I was like, fuck, just get on with it.
What?
But they're not that band that are going to
Yeah.
give you a breakdown in every single song.
No.
So maybe I'm
They're,
expecting.
they're very creative.
Yeah.
And I think they have we spoke about a unique sound in metalcore, like, and that seems to be the only way to get noticed
Yeah.
within metalcore, as it's so diverse now. And they've definitely got it with that lead guitar that almost drowns everything out for the whole album.
Yeah.
And the drummer's got this cymbal that sounds like it's the biggest cymbal in the world.
Yeah. Is it
The
that-
breakdowns, he hits it, it just echoes forever.
the China.
Yeah. And like they're quickly recognisable for that, and I think that's what
Matt Rayner's an incredible drummer, man. Like, he's really good.
I think that's what propels them at the minute. Seeing him live, like that download, like getting back to his massive cymbal.
How big are we talking?
We are massive.
It's just all you can
like,
just see is
40 foot in diameter.
that's
We're
what
gonna
it
need a
sounds
bigger
like.
stage. Live, that's what it sounds like. It's massive. Their sound is what's propelling them, I think, and I think it's a really good album.
Right.
Really good album.
Like what everyone said is this is really like impressive, like a fucking impressive album, like sonically, like how it sounds, and like as musicians, it's just like, all right, you can fucking play, we get it, sort of thing. But there's and I used to like hear a few of their tracks back in the day, and I've heard a couple of their albums, but this is kind of the reason that I've stopped listening to this kind of music. Like, I love metal, I love heavy music, I love everything that they do on paper, but it's like, it's just so much stuff chucked at you, and I feel like the end result is a bunch of songs that I couldn't, apart from maybe Quake for that guitar lead, I couldn't remember how half the songs went. Like, they just didn't stick out to me. Like,
that's what I mean with that lead.
Yeah.
Like, just drowning everything.
What about that little lead bit in The Frost? Can you remember
The
that?
Frost I really enjoyed. I was just to agree with Leesky for once. On the mellow parts, right?
Congratulations.
My favourite song on this was the 5th track called Lifeline.
That was my least.
Right.
Yeah, that's
See,
where I'm at.
This song, right, had, and the tone of the guitars, like the clean tone, the heavy tone, is fucking spot on. There's a bit in the middle where it just slows down, and there's a really nice guitar melody, and then it starts there's like a little offbeat on the ride on the massive cymbal, and it just slowly starts grooving, and it's like it starts to sound a bit like Dillinger when they go a bit jazzy and kind of like it builds up. And I was like, this is great. I really like where this is going. This is a little bit different because all I've had so far is riffs after riffs, and then you think it's about to build into something really epic, but then it just speeds up and just goes straight back into fucking metalcore riffs. And I was just like, like, now you've just gone back, you've just tried something a little bit different for 2 seconds and gone, nah, let's just go back into like melt your face off.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
Yeah, I think if there's a bit more conviction and confidence in like the softer side, they could probably write some better songs.
The thing is, they used to be, man. They used to chuck in like full-on 2-minute sections in the middle of a song where they just full-on go like improv, just go. They used to go nuts with it.
Yeah,
I mean, they're more mellow stuff. Like you're looking at things that sound similar to the likes like Arcane Roots.
Yeah,
which stuff like that. I just think they do that mellow stuff so well. They really do.
Because the rest of it, I feel like, and I'll probably come back to this in a review in a minute, is when you can hear a song, like talking about the subject this week, like metal is always based on the riff. Like sometimes you hear a piece of heavy music and you can tell that these songs were demoed and written by guitarists and drummers, and then the vocalist came in at the end and just shoved a bunch of angry shit over the top of it. And for me, like, over the years, I've cared less about that and started, what is a good song? What makes it a great song overall? I want to hear vocals that kind of like really capture and make me feel something. I mean, he's got a great fucking scream, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't remember half of the lyrics or half of what goes on that front of it, because I'm just drowned out by riffs and shredding and just crazy technical drumming the whole way through.
It's very fast in places, isn't it? Very thrashy, kind of. Those picky, the real intricate pick riffs. There's a lot of. There was
a while about when I started to sort of go off like generic metalcore years ago. This was kind of why, because I was just so fed up hearing that sort of stuff. But that's not to take away from how talented it is, because like I say, it is very fucking.
They can fucking play.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this one a 6 again.
70's.
5.
I'm sticking
Just
with the
very
B's
middle of the road with this one. It wasn't a bad album. It just wasn't great.
6.
Oh, I thought you were high.
Got some gems, but as an album from start to finish, there's not enough in there that captivates me.
All right, okay. Let's get on to the Black Dahlia Murder with Nightbringers. This is their 8th album, I think, or
something like that.
Yeah. I fucking love Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah.
And this, for me, is another reason why I love this band. It's extreme, it's fucking in your face from start to finish, it doesn't overstay its welcome, it's 9 tracks long, and it's just fucking nasty and evil.
Absolutely fucking furious.
Yeah, but while Thy Art Is Murder was that a few weeks ago, there's still something about this band that I said when I showed you them, like, or when we did it on, like, when was it we did? It was death metal or something. I started talking about them
for a long time ago.
Yeah, but I just think there's something a little bit cheeky about their riffs. And does that make sense on this album at all?
I'd never really had much time for this band until you used them as your pick for the game.
Yeah.
And I hadn't listened to them for fucking ages, and I heard that and I thought, actually, this isn't bad. So when they released this, I was very interested in listening to this album. I'll go last on my thoughts though.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
Well, I pretty much knew what I was going to be expecting going into this album, and it didn't deviate from anything else that I've heard from them. I'm not that up on this band.
Yeah.
Like I've heard your All Killer. Did you do an All Killer?
No,
for me?
it was like
or your
part of the game.
That got me back onto them a little bit. Saw them live at Soundwave. They were absolutely amazing, but never really followed it up and checked them out. But I'm sort of very aware of what they're all about, and this kind of just followed
what you expected.
And what they've been doing in the past. What I got was I thought a lot of it was very similar. Like on first listen and even second listen, I struggled to distinguish it track by track.
Yeah.
I think as well because in between songs they don't leave you a lot of time. Like I think there's like a second and then boom, next song.
Yeah.
What I did enjoy and what made it stand out and almost give me a little break in my mind in the album was the title track.
Yeah.
Like that triplet. Like they started bringing a lot of triplets into that song and
Was that one that was kind of a bit groovy and a bit slower?
Yeah, I loved that.
It's got a real bounce to it.
Yeah.
I can hear it in my head, but I'm not going to sing it on mic. So
I really enjoyed that, and honestly, that's really the only bit that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
But all the rest still very fucking cool, very good, fast, furious, mega riffs, mega double bass everywhere. Got no complaints about it. Just nothing really grabbed me
I think I'm
massively
with
on
you
it.
for sure. I think I listened. This is the album I listened to the least out of the four I was listening to.
Yeah.
Like, it's just madness from the go. It's
It's
just,
insane.
It's non-stop, and like the break that the
It was a
title track
welcome break as well.
like,
After 4 tracks,
shit. There we go again. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just in your face, death boy.
I think
it's just fucking brilliant. Though.
Yeah, it is brilliant. But I think
really
the difference
liked it.
with this and Die Out as Murder is Die Out as Murder give you breaks within the song, like those mental breakdowns that actually have like a half second between each note, and you can hear that actual physical break, whereas this is just punching you in the face over and over and over and
So
over
I
again.
think I said to you that this album sounds like you've done something to personally offend it and it's coming to find you.
Yeah.
It kind of like just holds you in a like chokehold up
Yeah.
against the wall and just kind of like rattles you around on the side to side, like, and then it just kind of like stares at you for a bit, and then just does it some more. But
that's all good, man. Like
Yeah.
you go into listen to Black Dahlia Murder, you know,
Yeah.
you should know what you're expecting with it.
it's the most I've heard him sound. I forgot the singer's name. It's the most I've heard him sound like Danny Filth. Like he sounds fucking evil on this album.
yeah.
Like he's a death metal vocalist through and through before, but on this it's like it's just super demonic.
Yeah.
There's like 4 songs in the middle of the album, like Nightbringers, as you said, Into Jars, Kings of the Night World, and then Catacomb, whatever the fuck.
Catacomb, Hecatomb.
That's the one I couldn't pronounce it.
The names.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know what it's about, but I just like it. It's
Okay,
just
show-
nasty. Yeah.
Someone knows what it's
Yeah.
about.
All right,
Right, I just
you're
want
gonna
to
read us a story now?
I am.
You've got a little story
You've got a little
time.
book.
I've actually
Black book.
written notes.
Story
Right.
time.
I just want to say, like, I've never really been a fan of this band, but this album was an absolute fucking monster.
Right.
Like, this is my favourite album that we've listened to for this.
What?
For this week. This,
Oh, okay. This week. Okay, cool. I thought you meant like for the podcast altogether. I was like, is it better than Shikari?
Wow.
Now you
I've had to change your heart.
Now you mention it. I knew what I was getting into with these. I've heard them before, never really been a fan. Put this album on, and I was just absolutely fucking blown away by it. It is such an angry fucking album. Like the double bass that's all over the fucking place in this album. Like the
Double bass in the place.
the opening track when that double bass kicks in after that first line of vocals, and you're just like, oh fucking hell, right, here we go. Like it is just unrelenting. Now today I actually went and read the lyrics while listening to this album again.
Right. Do I want to know? I don't know if I do. Okay.
We'll see.
It's not an album to listen to cheer yourself up.
Okay.
Let me put it that way.
Bedtime story music.
The opening track, Widowmaker, is about Tim Lambesis.
Really?
Yeah, not about him as an individual. It's about him wanting to have his wife killed.
It's kind of about him then, isn't it?
But you listen. Well, it's more about the guy he tries to hire to kill his wife.
Right.
I highly recommend you go back and listen to this album and read the lyrics because it is fucking dark.
Okay.
Second track, of God and Serpent, of Spectre and Snake. This is one of the most anti-religious songs I've ever seen lyrics to in my entire life. It's about Adam and Eve eating the apple from the tree, and basically they're overcome with all these emotions, lust being the main one, and it's basically about there's no other way to put it, it's about Adam just going to town on Eve while the snake watches, right? And it's the lyrics are really fucking
Is this like
graphic.
Obviously about this, or is it like you just read it and it makes sense?
No, you read these lyrics and it's
right.
Yeah, it doesn't leave much to the imagination.
Fucking hell.
Covered all bases.
It's very, very anti-religious. Matriarch, third track. It's about a guy chasing a pregnant woman in a car, and she panics and swerves the car into a tree, and he gets in her car and holds her down and cuts the baby out because yeah, it's like it's a thing for him, and there's again it doesn't leave much to the imagination, and there's a lot of very graphic lyrics about how he's holding her down, choking her out, and how he's just leaving this stillborn on the floor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a dark album. Nightbringers, again, very, very anti-religious. It's very anti-Christianity. There is actually a line in there that goes, yank the dead and Christ pig right off the cross, stab him in the side again, it's none of our loss. It's, No Holds Barred Jars is about storing human flesh to eat later. It's about this guy who's keeping human flesh in jars in his cellar. Nobody knows it's there.
Fuck me.
Yeah. And then The Lonely Deceased, right? This is the last track on the album. It's a track about necrophilia. And
that's all you need to say.
Obviously.
It's very, again, straight to the point. There was one line I was going to write down, and I thought I can't read it out
for this podcast.
Nah, I did write down one line because again, it doesn't leave anything to the imagination. What happens on this slab dies in this morgue with me.
And there you go.
There you go.
Jesus
It's-
Christ.
It's not a very pleasant album.
I wasn't expecting that, man.
Really? Fucking hell.
Well, I've never read their lyrics. I didn't.
That second track, I had to pause the song while I was reading the lyrics because I was just like, fuck me. Like, it's very... He knows how to write. I'll give him that.
Where's he getting all this inspiration
Yeah,
from? Is he just a very twisted up kind of
Something.
guy?
I need to go have a
You-
look at him.
you want to listen to Jars and read the lyrics because actually with those gang vocals when they're shouting heads in jars, the gang vocals work really well.
Heads in jars.
The gang vocals work really well. Like, Jars is... It's a really good song, but
Jarring.
yeah, it is. But I said when you've got gang vocals and they're shouting jars, heads in jars, and yeah, I said you go back, listen to it, read the lyrics. You're going to be horrified by that last track.
Okay.
You really fucking are.
He didn't hold back. Say that.
I'm actually going to do it. I'm curious now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we all going to give it then?
I think this is a really... Musically, I think this is a really strong album. I don't know if they've if this is like a return to form. I've not heard many of their recent albums.
Apparently, this is the best album they've released in a long time.
So I think Nocturnal was like, you know, like their Black album, like the fucking one sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's really strong.
I'm
Really
also
good.
going to give it an 8.
Yeah.
Even after reading those lyrics.
I went for 6. Only because I listened to it the least, I think.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
only reason.
What are you, Fisher?
7. Yep. 7.
Okay.
Fucking hell, me and you're in agreement tonight.
Jesus. That
I feel like that's about to change.
might. Nah, this album was great. Let's talk about 36 Crazyfists
Yeah,
with
Lanterns.
Who wants to kick us off with this one?
This was actually the one I listened to the least.
Well, I wanted to give it more. I
Me
gave
too.
I gave it 5. But I wanted to
What,
give
is that
it
your
more.
score? Is this
That was my
score?
score.
Huh?
That's my score.
Alright, okay.
5 Bs. I wanted to give it more. It's good and there's nothing special. It's just metalcore and that's what I like. But I think we're all going to agree. I think we're all going to bash his singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
yeah,
are.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
His vocals to me are like it's like Chino's from Deftones, like except at least his are in fucking tune.
I think.
Are they?
They are in tune.
Who's?
Like not Chino's.
Oh,
no.
I was
like,
gonna say.
No, like. So listening to 36
Yeah,
Crazyfists, like his vocals, they're in tune with the music. It's just
Kinda.
In time, they're in time.
his
They're there.
voice.
They're there on the album.
They exist.
his voice
Which-
when he sings is just it's always been the thing that has stopped me from going, do you know what, actually I really like this band.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the main issue with this band.
It's like, what is happening here?
Well, I've got a sample I'd like to play you from the album,
Oh, nice.
just to make a point, if that's okay.
Sure.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. Came straight from the bottom to the top of my lifestyle. Nigga living life like a beginning, this is only the beginning. Nigga, I'm on the top of the mountain, puffing on clouds, and niggas still beginning.
So,
What happened there?
last week you said, and I'm not even trying to just like come back with that. I'm not even trying to do this for a reaction or to get a rise or a reaction. But this album is the metal version of that. That is. It's not my fault. There's the fucking Tasmanian devil on this album. Or the fucking. Oh my god! This is this is hands down the worst thing we've reviewed, in my opinion, on this podcast, and it's the worst album from front to back that I've listened to this year. Like fucking hands down, this is arse cancer. Absolute trash. Like the music, the riffs. It's like they've just kind of gone, oh yeah, we play metal. We sort of play metalcore. Let's do that again. All right. Like they've not tried to do anything to, and it's okay if it's a throwback. That's cool. But it's just, I mean, there's a couple of okay riffs in there, which is kind of what made me go stick around and at least try and get through it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But fucking hell, the vocals. It's like you said. I feel like he's trying to. He in his head, he's like, right, I want to be a unique vocalist. I want to have my own voice. Like I want to have my own unique
But it's
thing.
not a good
But it's
voice.
just all over the fucking place, and it does not work.
I think it would be stronger if he just stuck to screaming, because
But
it's
even
not,
the scream's not that great. In my
it
opinion.
isn't, but it's better than his fucking singing. I actually think the strongest part of this album was the drumming.
Yeah, I mean it's
I think it
Passable?
was. Is it Below the Graves?
Yeah, that's what I got written down here. That throwdown, like deathless kind of vibe.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like I said,
That was a cool track, actually.
it's his voice that's kept me from going. Actually, do you know, I want to listen to this band more. Then I can't say I'm a fan because they're not a band that I keep going back to. Every
Yeah.
so often I think, oh, I'll see what 36 Crazyfists are doing, and they've got some tracks that I genuinely enjoy, but this album. It's just more of the same from them.
just because I'm on a bit of a run. I think you mentioned this, Rob. But does anyone want to talk about the sort of like acoustic-y ballads.
Oh,
on
dude,
this album.
that's what I've
Yeah, why
actually
was
I've,
that?
Do we have
God.
to?
I've put that. God, what was that? He should not be singing ballads.
I've actually written that.
Yeah,
Well
I've actually
done.
written that.
All right.
See where revenge ends.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So they are hard
Just-
to listen
just
to.
don't.
Like, I kind of wanted to turn it off because I'm so sorry, mate.
I mean, I hate
Gotta
ballads
turn
at
it
the best
off.
of times.
You've listened to this album more than you listened to Black Dahlia.
I did, yeah.
Is it
Because
because
I wanted to give it more.
he was chasing the 36 Crazyfists dragon?
Yeah.
It was like he was looking for something
Yeah.
that ultimately wasn't there.
Yeah, just,
Fucking where Revenge Ends, right? The one you just mentioned. I laughed so hard
You did.
throughout the whole song.
That
And
was shocking.
I'm not even trying to be a prick. I just like the funnier thing is that this song ended and I was like, ah, and then it just went this drum fill, into like the fucking most monstrous bouncy riff of the next song, which was Sleep Sick,
I like
and
it.
I was just like, yes.
Sleep
But I
Sick's cool.
laughed so hard because the way it went from that piece of shit into this like thing that I was like, oh, okay, and I was
Yeah.
like, I just couldn't stop laughing in the car to myself, and I just wanted to ask, can you take this seriously? Like,
not with them ballads in there.
They don't
I
really
can't-
seem to know.
I don't
what-
know if people
what
legitimately
direction
take this
they're-
seriously.
No. Yeah, I'm in agreement there, man.
It's just too funny. That's why I thought I'd put a shit joke in there.
His screaming and his like his low range stuff is really good. It's just when he does
Wrong.
do the
Fake
the
news,
singing.
He
Like,
needs
the
more of
ballads
that.
are awkward to
He
listen
needs
to.
more of that low end screaming.
I was very conflicted by this album. So there were bits of it, and there was a few tracks on there actually where I was just like, actually this is all right. Then there were other tracks where I just kind of forgot I was
There's so
listening
much
to it.
filler in there as well.
Yeah.
Like apart from like the opening track, I thought was quite a strong opener. Death
Death Eater.
Eater.
Better to them was okay. I guess the
Sleep
chorus.
Sick and Below the Grave.
Below the grave, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought some genuinely cool stuff. Musically wise, like
Yeah,
not
like,
anything to do with his
Yeah,
vocals.
good. Nothing special metalcore.
Yeah, it's just it's just more of the same from what they've already done.
Generally,
I just felt like it sounded like a bunch of demos though. Like even in terms of the quality, like yeah, the drumming was good, but it just sounds like it's done on fucking Superior drummer on Cubase around your mate's house. Like it doesn't. None of it sounds together. It just sounded really like I suppose we better put out a record. Like and it's like okay, drums, guitars, bass, and like weird fucking awful singing, and there's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
To like outside of that.
But
that
they've
could
never
interest
been
you.
an interesting band.
No.
They'll always be that band that are going to be
Do you know what, they're good live
around
though.
that level of sort of second on the main stage at Download kind of.
Yeah.
I can't see them ever getting bigger
No.
than
They-
anything.
They
like-
do what they do, and that's it. Like I said, they're good. They're a good live
They're not
band.
bad, man. Yeah, they supported Devil Driver and
Yeah,
they
that's it, yeah,
they
that's
were
what it's
okay.
like.
Yeah.
I actually think the album they had before this one, Time and Trauma, was a much better album.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, I remember those like the album with the heart on the front cover when they were like a bit more relevant
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day. There was like a single off that was really catchy.
It's,
Even
the-
though the vocals
the end
were
of
still
August.
weird, maybe.
That was one of their big
yeah.
songs.
Have a look at what that is.
I'll go until my heart stops. That's
That's
quite
it.
a good
That's
song.
the
Yeah,
one, yeah.
that is the one.
That's like the only really fucking cool one. That's the one they tend to end their set with.
That
as
was
well.
off of A Snowcap Romance.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's some awful shit on there towards the end of the album as well.
Mate, I'm never. I'm. That's just a complete.
That's upset
I'm
you,
not.
hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not even trying to do a Leesky here. But if we're still doing the podcast and they bring out another album, I'm just going to politely decline.
I've set the precedent now.
Sorry, mate.
Shikari and 36 Crazyfists co-headline tour.
Let's go, mate. Yeah, let's move on. I'm going to give this a 2.
Well, shit.
Just because of
It's
that one.
higher than my 0.
Yeah, because I'm not completely irrational and unprofessional.
It might have been slightly irrational, but I hated it. Rob Smith, what do you got?
5.
I'm gonna go with 5 as well. I didn't hate it, but it was just again very middle of the road. There was a few redeeming features on it, but he just needs to do something with his vocals.
Stop them.
There you go.
It's a 4 from me.
Wow.
A 4. Yeah, that's I think the lowest I've ever gone. Actually, yeah.
I actually thought you guys were going to go higher, just from the general reactions I was seeing from you about it.
Well, at first I was gonna go higher,
Yeah.
and the more I listened to
It
it,
opens really well, doesn't it?
yeah,
Oh man,
Because I found with this album, like, I was enjoying it, and I went back to it. I was like, actually, didn't enjoy it that much. Then I enjoyed it again. I was like,
like I
What
remember
are you
talking to you
doing?
in the pub about it, and we were really like conflicted. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, at that time, I was like, I'm fucking confused about this album.
That's
I
that's
can't,
your
I
way
can't
to put
decide if I like it or not.
It is a very confusing album.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. My opinion might change if
it's
I go
clear
back
as
and
day,
listen
mate.
to it.
Like, as soon as I put it on, I was just like, oh, I've got to get through all of this, like several times.
It's a chore sometimes, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I should have just copy and pasted what you said last week. Anyway,
You could
right,
have done.
Yeah,
Have they sucked the fun out?
yeah, it really
did.
did. I went to go see Arcane Roots on
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, and who supported? There's a band that we missed that opened, which has got a member from Gallows and 2 other prominent bands, but they're just in my mind. But apparently they're going to be a big deal. They were really good, and then Fizzy Bloods. They're like a sort of.
I saw them supporting While She Sleeps.
Yeah, I thought, because you didn't rate them too much, did you? I can totally see why they wouldn't work at a While She Sleeps concert.
Yeah.
I thought they were okay. The guitarist walked on stage, hit the first note, and he snapped the string straight away. It's the funniest thing I've seen. But it was like kind of cool, because he was just kind of like, bah, oh shit, and then just kind of like chucked his guitar to one side and just started singing. Like, it was pretty funny. But they were alright. They had a few cool bouncy riffs, but I wasn't like overly impressed by them. Arcane Roots, this is the 4th time I've seen them. Fortunately, at the Met Lounge in Peterborough, it was busier than it's been in Norwich. There was about 100 people there, I'd say. It's pretty busy. They were fucking incredible.
So this was the Met Lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always are though. They're just such a. And they were so loud. So I literally couldn't even stand near the front. I was just like, which never happens. I like being involved, but I was by the sound desk. I mean, it's a small venue, but they were just so incredibly loud. It was mental.
Yeah.
And they started off with the first 2 tracks off the new album, that very cinematic intro, and then when it all kicked in, we were just like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is insane. Like,
Yeah.
They've now got like a lighting rig that they take on tour, and these like bars that are all programmed to their set, so it's like a bit of a show. And yeah, just great as always. Really, can't fault them. I think it's just so crazy that they're not bigger than they are.
They have a lot of samples live. Of all
Yeah,
that.
but he was playing because the last few times I've seen him, he's got like a big like pedal board, and he fucks about with that a lot. And as a 3-piece band, you get what you get. But he's now got a piano there with a synth pad and stuff, and they do a lot of extra stuff as well, and obviously backing tracks to go with all of the like atmospheric electronic stuff. But on the flip side, I went there and Jordan was there, John was there. I was there with Boff, Jake from Visions, and all those guys, like all of their band, and Sam and like a few other people. And I was like, I thought there was gonna be like 2 or 3 of us there, and there was like about 20 of us at the end. I was like, let's get fucked up. So I was just like bouncing between the bar, and I got merrily drunk by the end of it.
Nice.
And so I wasn't like, I was having a great time catching up with everyone, because it was a bit of a lads' night more than I was just like watching the fucking the gig.
Yeah.
Because there was enough room to just go to the bar, which is great.
Ah, awesome.
So, and I've not got pissed in ages, so
I love the Met Lounge for that.
yeah.
Yeah. They play a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, they played. They probably played like 5 or 6 songs off it. I mean, it's a 10-track album.
Yeah.
And then maybe 1 off their first EP, 2 or 3 off that most recent EP, and then like 2 off their first album.
Okay.
Yeah, loads of sing-alongs like towards the end of it, like just really great. Definitely next time they play, you need to come and check them out because it's impressive. And as you said, Lisa, a band that you would probably get more seeing them live. So.
No, good stuff.
All right, and that's great. Anyone else see anything at all?
No gigs. No.
All right.
Which is unfortunate. We need to get to more live shows, really. But
Yeah, I mean, none of us went to see Buried Tomorrow, did we?
No, that sold out though.
Yeah.
That was packed, yeah.
that was the Waterfront and the Met Lounge.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. On Arcane Roots, did anyone hear what Radio 1 are doing?
Oh, they're doing
On
the
Tuesday
Radio 1
night.
Rocks, aren't they?
Yeah, with Enshikari,
Architects.
Architects, Arcane Roots. I want to say Marmozets as well.
What a
It's
lineup.
doing-
Yeah, and someone else as well. But I saw that earlier and I was like, yes. Because I
Yeah.
think last time they had, I'm not sure who it was, I think Bullet did it a few years ago. When they do like the rock takeover for the whole day and they have like live sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
But when is that?
Next Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
Is that the like Maid of Vale?
Yeah,
It's probably recorded in Made the Bell, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be checking that out, to be fair.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
definitely.
Yeah, it's everyone we've been talking about as well.
Yeah. Alright, let's get on to our topic then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as we said, this week we're going to take a history look back at the 70s and 80s and how heavy metal developed. And really just kind of go into,
How have we got where we are?
yeah, pretty much, really.
Evolution.
I think we might have
Brilliant.
a few different opinions on how it sort of started, and also it's important to mention that none of this is all just background research. None of us
Yeah.
are old enough to have lived through this. So
Sure. I mean,
so-
I was born in the last year of the 80s. So.
yeah, same. So we're 80s babies just about. So who wants to start this one off then?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
well,
I
actually, going back to the very, very first podcast, the
Yeah.
Infinite Metal one, we started with Sabbath because we didn't really know when starting this podcast, like where to begin. And we were like,
We're
well,
meant to talk about Sabbath.
let's just
Yeah.
start where it all began. So,
and that's where we are with this topic because
Yeah.
Paranoid was released in what 70?
yeah, 1970, yeah. Now, pre-70s, there's nothing metal, really.
There are like the footprints of what led to it though.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at I was watching a documentary and I found it really interesting looking back at even the Kinks. Like, you really got me. If you can think about that song and that stabby riff, that down
Yeah.
the guitarist was like talking about how he actually like took a knife to the cone of his guitar amp and he got this really scratchy sound out of it,
Huh.
which is so punk.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and that is actually like, if you look at Black Sabbath and riffs and going back to stuff like that, it actually kind of makes sense that it originates from that because it's all about a repeating riff and that kind of like,
Well, the building blocks were there for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like just ignoring Sabbath for a second, you look at the likes of Motorhead.
Yeah.
Lemmy's big influences were. You're looking at like the outlaw country musicians, basically.
yeah.
Like your likes of Johnny Cash.
And blues artists in general.
Yeah, like he was really into like his rock and roll basically from the 50s, all that sort of stuff, and it
Yeah, wasn't Elvis even like sort of lumped in with all that?
I mean, I would say it was an inspiration for him to do what he did, but the thing with Lemmy was the only reason he picked up the bass was because he knew it would get him girls. That is
Obviously.
that is honestly the only reation he bought a bass, and then
No one's done it since though. That instrument does not get you laid. Unless you go for the brown note. Carry on.
he picked up the bass, and the only reason he actually learnt to play the bass is because girls kept asking him to play them something, and he realised that actually he couldn't.
Right.
So he had to learn.
Yeah, but it was
yeah.
these musicians, like throughout like the 60s and the 70s that really inspired him to do what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, because Motorhead were not till late 70s, were they?
No,
But
he'd been in
like,
various different bands
I think-
before then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Overkill came out in 79.
Hmm.
So, yeah, they were really 80s, more 80s, weren't they?
So you
Motorhead,
did
but-
have Sabbath releasing Paranoid in 1970, and I
That
think
was
they really
70s.
did set the precedent.
Yeah,
for,
I think it was the first time, especially for its time, like they called it like a demonic note, like that scale. It was just
Yeah.
one note they changed. I don't know the technical term for it. Maybe what's it going from a major to a minor or something, but
Yeah.
Iommi did something different, and it was like, oh fuck, that's dark. And it
Yeah.
was the first time ever, and it spooked a lot of people hearing that, it was like all these Christian groups calling it like the devil's scale, the devil's sound.
I mean, it was
stuff,
very
and it
kind
was
of
all
like opinionated, because this was after like the hippie era of like
Yeah.
all wearing flowers in your hair, and kind
Yeah.
of like all of a sudden you've got this other side, which is
this evil sounding kind of scale. But it's like literally one note they changed, and it was like, oh fuck, that's dark. And they kind of
stumbled on the cornerstone.
And they just kind of ran with it. And
when did Steppenwolf Born to Be Wild come out? Do you remember that song?
I can Google it.
Mate, I mean, because I was listening to that the other day, and it was that kind of like driving riff, and this was like after kind of like traditional rock and roll. And that was leading to be an influence towards stuff like Black Sabbath. But like the lyric in the verse is like heavy metal thunder.
That's it.
Like, and I think
Yeah.
like they were sort of saying that the term comes from like some of those songs.
Yeah.
And
That was
even-
released in '68.
that was the
there you go.
first time the term heavy metal had ever been used
in a
musical
yeah.
in a musical sense.
And I found it interesting as well. I think it was Rob Halford from Judas Priest was saying that, like, from working class backgrounds, like people in the UK were living near like metal foundries, and like sort of they were breathing.
Birmingham, man. Yeah,
They were like literally breathing in like sort of like the fumes, and there was this. That's really cheesy. They said like we were breathing in heavy metal, and it's like we lived these rundown lives, and now the term is just used. It's like, how would you describe it? It's like anything that's like sort of weighty and dense and sort of dark and slow, and I guess that's kind of like what led to Black Sabbath, a bunch of guys that weren't from middle class backgrounds. They were just kind of like really run down and hated everything. So apparently I saw earlier, doing a bit of research on Black Sabbath as well, was the name came from like this horror film from back in the day.
Okay.
And they really wanted to watch it, and where is it? One of them, I think it was the guitarist, said that he had this like dream where he saw this like dark figure at the end of his bed after he started writing this music.
Holy
and that
shit.
inspired Ozzy to write the lyric, what is this that stands before me, over that like really demonic like scale that you were talking about. And then I don't know, I just find it really fascinating, because I just trying to imagine what it would have been like discovering a new genre of music at that age, like how exciting it must have been.
You make a good point about the timing as well, like after the Flower Power kind of era, to come in and just go, we're just gonna shit all over that. Have some of this. Like, it must have freaked a lot of people out at the time. Like, us hearing
Why
it
you
now,
were so angry? Like,
yeah.
I think it's a come down from all the drugs. If anything.
Well, they did have.
Well, Zeppelin were in the mix, well and truly, right? Like, I mean, talking about the hippie era and all the acid and stuff that was taken, I still think Zeppelin were on it.
Yeah.
But they kind of with a dark twist.
And Zeppelin have a thing in common with like Priest, is that like Rob Halford was saying, okay, you've got like these chuggy guitars that are quite heavy, but then he was singing like 4 different octaves. He was singing really high.
I put some Priest on earlier.
Yeah.
Fuck, what album was it? It was
Doesn't matter, it's all
Sad. Sad Wings of Destiny, a '76 album. It's not great.
No,
It's not.
But his vocals, you're right, man. They're so high.
And like Led Zeppelin was right like that as well. It's like, okay, you've got heavy music, but then and like quite aggressive, like driven, fall to the floor. Well, not in Zeppelin's case, the drummer's mental, but like, but like with this high pitched, like almost feminine quality, sort of. Same with Ozzy as well. I mean, he was pushing it up there. So.
Yeah.
And that's what then led into like shouting and screaming, which I guess was like the basis of like real fucking heavy music.
Yeah, I had to do quite a lot. Well, I say quite a lot. I do a bit of research on the 70s because I pretty much tend to avoid anything from there because it's rubbish. But I do recognise that it is definitely a cornerstone to what we listen to now and what the bands, like new bands or even still, are influenced by. I think they'll be influenced by them from the 70s for the rest of our days at least.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of bands that are a bit older than us that lived through it still. So until that's not the case, it won't be forgotten anytime soon. Like when Sabbath headlined Download in 2012, Oh, it might have been 2012 when they had like the original lineup back, and it was like this big comeback performance. Randy did a bit of a speech on Sabbath. Randy from Lamb of God, saying, you know, I'll be standing at the side of the stage tonight with a big smile on my face, knowing I'm watching these guys and being completely thankful, because without them, like, none of us here would have a job. Essentially, we've got these guys to thank. So, you know, it's nice that he was sort of appreciating them. And
I think I've said before, we're in a very unique position where we've still got the band that actually started the genre. A lot of them are still touring.
But yeah. And yet we're living through the birth of so many little subgenres here and there. Like, we're really on the forefront of the.
Well, we're going with the subgenres thing. We'll go on to the 80s. I think that's where the subgenres kind of split off massively.
Yeah. So 70s was. It was a bit
like AC/DC in the 70s.
TNT was released in the 70s, 73. I didn't realise it was such an early album. You had Deep Purple's Machine Head.
Man, like
with Smoke on the Water. That was 72.
Does anyone, if I said Burn by Deep Purple, would you recognise which song I'm talking about? Like, it's just such a fucking banger.
Is that the one that goes?
No,
that's Smoke on the Water.
But Burn is like, and it's like pretty upbeat, and it's got this like organ in the background, and it's got,
of course, it's got an organ.
Yeah, man, and it's got fucking like crazy vocal harmonies, and it's just like this is like, I've not heard anything prior to that sounds like, and it actually sounds like it could have been released. Like, it's quite technical. Like, it could have come out like last decade. You know what I mean? It's mental. But yeah. Anyway, getting on.
But it was like the ball rolling, but very slow. Like before it was gathering any momentum. Like, they were still figuring out exactly what was going on. And then, like, towards the end of the 70s, Priest released an album, Hellbent for Leather. That was one. That was one of the.
Is that one with Painkiller on it?
I think it might be.
Yeah, what a shit song.
Just in retrospect, it's quite a sort of like.
But like,
that's actually quite a heavy song.
That one's
Painkiller.
a real fresh
yeah,
song.
but it was the first time any sort of speed was injected into anything what anyone was doing. So actually, they're saying Priest were one of the pioneers for injecting some sort of high tempo.
Associated with speed metal, and Lemmy always said that they weren't a metal band; they just played rock and roll.
Yeah. What was the Motorhead? Yeah, Overkill 79. I mean, I just remember that the drums at the start of Overkill. They're just fast. It's really upbeat, and that wasn't even an 80s album. So you could see it. From what I gather in my research today, was that towards the end of the 70s, the tide was starting to turn. As we sort of came into the 80s, things were speeding up.
Yeah, it definitely picked up speed as soon as 80s hit. I don't think you can talk 80s without talking about Thrashcore.
The Bay Area
in general.
So who was there? I mean, the Exodus, supposedly responsible for kicking off the Bay Area thrash scene. Testament. Dio and his Holy Diver was an early 80s album.
Yeah,
that was in the mix. You had Venom.
Yeah.
Oh mate, yeah.
They had some really demonic sort of pentagrams in the artwork, and was really pushing that kind of
with the 80s and
black metal almost,
and the splitting off of the subgenres. Like almost after thrash, you got glam metal.
Yeah.
Glam in LA.
Very much more 80s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Motley Crue, Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Then you also had like the UK scene was still very much alive at the time. I mean, bands like Saxon.
I mean, Maiden.
who were huge in America at the time. Like, the Americans couldn't get enough of them.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Maiden. They were kicking it all off in England.
Yeah.
We had in the late 70s, weren't they?
75, I think they formed, but didn't do an awful lot until the 80s. The 80s was.
Although you say that though, in the 80s you had Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC bringing out, peaking pretty much. Back in Black, and they're like
When was Appetite for
band.
Destruction released?
That
Guns N' Roses.
was
Was that an 80s?
That was 80. I want to say 89.
no, that was way earlier than that.
Really?
Yeah, because
This, yeah, sorry, go on.
There's just some classic albums.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. Like,
just wanted
in
to-
my research.
because Motley Crue took Guns N' Roses on tour with them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So Guns N' Roses supported.
I say way earlier. It was
Motley.
released in '87. I thought it was earlier than that. But Guns
Yeah.
N' Roses supported Motley Crue.
Skipping ahead
That's
a
insane,
little
isn't
bit.
Because there was one Motley Crue show. This must have been before they. Well, this would have been before they toured with Guns N' Roses. This would have been early '80s. There was a huge crowd of people outside the venue waiting to get in, and they were delayed letting people in, and people actually broke down the doors to get in. And at the front of this crowd was this young lad, and he started shouting at Motley Crue, and he was just like, "Well, when the hell are you going to play?" And that young lad was Sebastian Bach.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, that worked out well. Well, I was just going to mention, obviously we'll get back to early 80s in a minute, but I remember very clearly the first time I heard Paradise City. And I remember it really well. I was sat round a friend's house from Springwood. I think it was, do you remember Mr. Churchyard from Springwood? It was one of his sons I used to be
I
good
like
friends
Ollie.
with. Yeah, Dom and Ollie. I used to hang out with those guys. And I remember we were just like sat on the computer in the early days of the internet, and he was like, was like on LimeWire or whatever back then. He was like, check out this
AIDS
song.
for your computer.
Yeah, it's like, check out this song. And I was like, how have I never heard Guns N' Roses? And I heard Paradise City, and the whole idea of like an 7-8 minute song that's kind of like pretty. It's so overplayed now, but like how it gets to that end section where it speeds up, and it just gets more and more like kind of like based on classic rock and thrash and punk.
You just
and all that.
builds and builds.
And I was
and
just sat in
builds.
this chair, like just like losing my shit to this song, like, and now I can't fucking stand it.
I will never get bored of that song. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Guns N' Roses
But
fan anyway.
It just makes me want to know, like, can you remember specifically, like rock or heavy metal, a certain song that's done that to you, or that's kind of like really piqued your interest when you were younger?
One by Metallica.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
mine's-
another one. Yeah, isn't it?
That really kicked me. That did. It's like fucking hell. What is
Yeah.
this? What is this?
Mine's like Battery,
Metallica songs. Yeah.
like not anything on Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Rain in Blood, the song Rain in Blood, Angel
Yeah.
of Death. Like, holy shit, this is something. Like hearing it, probably 20 years later after it had been released, and still
the 80s
loving
is where I really started to notice
yeah.
rock and metal for me anyway.
86 was the year of Master of Puppets, Rain in Blood, Spreading the Disease by Anthrax, and Peace Sells But Who's Blind by Megadeth. 86 was all four of those albums. Like, what a fucking year.
Yeah, man.
And
Heavy
hence
metal, yeah.
the name The Big Four, the Big Thrash Four,
Yeah, yeah.
evolved out of that, because they're all just hallmark albums.
I mean, Killing
Despite
Them
what
as
you
well,
guys
Ride the
say about
Lightning.
Anthrax.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like coming out from like the 70s, 80s, that really made me take notice was I think it was probably Overkill.
When was Ace of Spades?
Oh God, I don't even know what year.
That was well in the 80s though, wasn't it? I guess. But yeah, but like in the UK, you had Monsters Rock kicking off, like attracting massive audiences.
And, well, when you say about the
But it was
audience
off of
stuff,
the album Ace of Spades, which was released in 1980.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, okay.
you had the start of MTV as well
Yeah.
in the 80s, which made rock and metal a little bit more accessible. And it seemed like being a band, it was cooler to be in a band. Like around the start of the 80s,
Yeah.
around the start of rock and metal, it was cool to be in a band.
Real like celebrity worship kind of era, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, if you look at the late 80s and the size of Metallica when they're building up to the Black Album and whatnot. Another thing to point out, a bit of a side note on that, the whole like birth of the genre was something that they pointed out in the documentary, that it was very much back then a male-dominated genre of music. Like, and it was, they were showing footage of sort of early mosh pits, and that they were showing news clips of people, like, you know, you imagine now, I make the joke about fucking some, I don't know, Grimmy going to like the extreme tenor at a festival, be like, "Ooh, let's have a look into this world of these weird creatures." Like back then, it was like they call it moshing, and what they do is they run around and they throw
It's like
their
an
bodies
Attenborough
around.
documentary.
Yeah, and it was just really fascinating seeing that, like the whole idea that the energy of the music, because moshing is such a integral part of metal now. You don't like even give it much thought. But the idea back then that you'd gone from like the hippie area of everyone just chilling out and being naked and fucking,
Woodstock fucking vibe, and then
to just like this
Wind.
music literally makes me want to run and makes me want to run around the venue. And just show people just go like it's just so energetic. You're just hyped up, and it's like it's just fucking great to I can imagine to have just been there at that time to see like what music does to people and how it moves people.
Yeah.
To someone that's never heard that style of music before. We were joking about like, what was it, the hip hop channel that had never heard Master of Puppets before. We were saying like, what about like a metalhead that's never heard fucking Dr. Dre or whatever before. But like the whole idea of someone that's never like listened to heavy metal and then they just see a mosh pit and go,
what the
there's
fuck?
just no girls here and it is just guys running at each other.
That's
like,
the thing. Randy had a lot of trouble with when his court case was going on.
Yeah.
On a bit of a side note here, that he thought he was in big trouble because to try and explain the nature of a mosh pit where just you have like 300 people in a room beating the shit out of each other. How do you explain that to someone that
Doesn't
understand?
Well, don't use the word beating the shit out of each other.
No, but
You know,
that's
like-
what
like-
it looks like to an outsider.
It's like Ollie Sykes
certainly,
doesn't
like-
mean it when he says kill each other.
like people like my parents and other some of my mates like parents when they see videos of stuff and they're like they can't
What are
believe
you doing,
they're like
you know?
why
It's very strange.
why they were
to-
hitting each other,
to-
but
to see.
Outsiders.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think another thing though, like in the 80s especially, you because metal was, I don't want to say bigger than it is now because it's definitely more accessible now, but I think it was more accepted for what it was because it had come off of this rock scene, but you had these musicians that were seen as rock stars. You know, you had the likes of Motley Crue, who when they were at their peak, they were one of the biggest bands on the planet.
yeah
Kiss.
Yeah. I mean, you had, again, going back to Motley Crue, you had people just obsessed with what the likes of Nikki Sixx was doing.
yeah Dee Snider,
Yeah.
like he was
Absolutely
killing it, like
Yeah.
everywhere. He was actually a really good spokesman for the genre. He's a
He
very
spoke up in
intelligent.
court, didn't he?
What was that about? He had a court case about something, but
He was
Wasn't
basically
it like-
elected by the metal community to represent metal in court.
he was a very good spokesman because I think there was a case about how music was negatively influencing people, and they thought he was just going to be this washed-up guy that's going to turn up and be this degenerate, and he just put together such a well-formulated and articulate argument that they dropped the case, and they were like, okay, fuck. Like, I can't remember the details, but he was a pretty surprisingly smart guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all good stuff. Motley Crue, though.
I think it was that party element that they had.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the
all of
LA
the drugs. I mean, they were described as the drug scouts of America for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when they were
If you
touring,
could find Motley Crue, you could find like all of the cocaine.
because drug drug dealers just used to follow them around because they knew that they would make an absolute fucking killing off of them and their crew.
Yeah.
You had,
Amazing.
I mean, when they were in the UK, they were with Guns N' Roses, and Slash overdosed on heroin, and because Nikki Sixx didn't know what to do with him, he
You put him in a
put him,
dumpster.
he put him in a dumpster around the back of the hotel
Yeah.
because he didn't know what to do. But it's all this stuff that people were just like, fuck, like, you know,
Yeah.
this is amazing. I want to
Yeah.
do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And bizarrely, it inspired so many people to like start playing in bands because they, you know, when you're earning that much money and you can just do whatever you
You
want
got
and get away
idolised,
with
man.
it.
Like the chicks. Well, I mean, Motley Crue's "Girls, Girls, Girls" album was '87, but like around that time at their peak, they were
In the video for Girls, 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 you can see Nikki doing a line of coke off the table.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
but,
not
like,
a prop.
They didn't realise he was doing it until after they'd put it out, and he's just doing a line of coke off the
Yeah,
table.
Jesus.
I mean, Vince Neil, he ran someone down in his car because he was hammered.
Oh, he got kicked out of the band for that, didn't he? Didn't they? kick
Yeah,
him
but that
out?
was the worst that happened to him.
Yeah.
it's
So there was this immunity that came with the territory of like basically we can just fucking get away with.
And it just inspired people for whatever reason to go, I want to do that and put their own spin on it. Yeah,
literally, it was glamorous.
Well, man,
No, I wasn't making a joke. Like it literally was glamorous to do that.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That whole phrase, like,
But that rivalry between the thrash scene and the glam scene was quite a well documented thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
then-
Metallica gone on record a number of times going, Motley Crue, fuck those guys, fuck LA. We don't like playing LA, like, and vice versa. They're like, yeah, fuck the Bay Area. We hate all that fucking
Metallica
shit.
went on tour with Guns N' Roses as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
Did it kick off then as well?
yeah, and Guns N' Roses had to be smuggled out the venue in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Didn't Axl Rose not turn up or something like that?
It was.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm sure the story goes like he didn't turn up and they cancelled.
Well,
That's
Back
the
in the
whole
day, Axl Rose was actually really fucking professional. Like, if you've never read The Heroin Diaries by Nicky Sixx, I highly recommend it.
I still need to read that. There's that. I've read The Dirt. The Dirt by Motley Crue is one of my favourite books of all time. Like,
They were
even though
just
I'm not a huge
insane.
Motley Crue fan, but that book is just insane. The stories,
Fascinating.
yeah, man, behind the scenes when they toured Japan and they were like firing fucking guns in the carriage and shit. Like they were just
They could go anywhere in
they
the
were
world,
just off
and
the
people
rails,
just,
man.
they just idolised them, and that was enough for people to take notice of the music they were writing and want to play. And that's how you then get all this progression throughout the 80s. Like, people are hearing these bands and just going, well, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do my thing with it.
yeah, put my twist on it
And that's still what happens today if
Yeah.
you look at genres now, but it's just not quite as defined. And something that's interesting, whilst we're talking about thrash versus like the glam rock scene, was perhaps a more relevant next podcast as we go to the 90s. But the fact that most people don't know that Pantera used to be a glam rock band.
Yeah.
And the fact that they decided
they wrote
to
power
go,
metal, an
it
album
was-
called Power Metal.
Yeah, and it was still technically fucking incredible. But they switched from being that to one of the biggest thrash and just all out heavy metal bands in the world.
I can't wait to
You
get
know?
into that next episode.
Yeah.
man, the whole.
So that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to do a decades thing over the next podcast. And
Yeah, I mean,
one
we've
after
lumped
maybe.
together 70s and 80s because probably couldn't milk a whole episode out of the 70s,
No.
to be honest.
Oh,
But-
we could.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon we could have done that.
Well,
We're getting on now, to be fair, aren't we? So.
Yeah.
well, regardless, we'll dedicate one episode to 90s.
And if
next
you
week.
want to hear us talk about rock stars of today and before, go to episode
4?
5 or 4. It's there somewhere.
that's a good one as well.
We all said a different number, so we're pretty sure about it.
listen to
Just,
them all.
yeah, just go to episode blank.
Yeah.
Just have to edit it in with you saying the number. Episode 5.
From out of nowhere.
Yeah, it seemed like a good era and a very fun, enjoyable, just craziness.
Yeah.
Things I know full well, if I'd have been the age that I am now, or even a little bit younger, back in the 80s, when I was listening to metal, I would have developed a vicious drug habit.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, if you were 21 as an album like Master of Puppets' Rain in Blood dropped, like, I mean, does it get much
Imagine
better?
being there for that, man.
Being allowed into those little clubs in Oakland with these little thrash venues and stuff, like, that would have been insane.
Off your tits on coke.
Yeah. Like, Rob Flynn was one of those guys. He was well in there.
Yeah.
Perfect age.
But that's what I mean. Like, you've got these guys that are being heavily influenced by this music, and then they're playing it themselves. They're playing the music that they love. They're learning music by these other bands, and then they start writing their own stuff.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you've got a band like Machine Head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to be in a band.
Or to just pick up the bass.
Or to just pick up the bass and blag your way through the next 40 years.
Have you got any other standout albums from these two
In the
decades
70s and
that
80s.
you can think of?
Literally anything that Motorhead kicked out,
Mm.
like, throughout the 80s.
Yeah. Okay.
Iron Maiden then
What?
picking up massive speed as well,
Were
weren't they?
they Power Slave? Was it back then? I don't know. I'm not.
I got one Iron Maiden album and I didn't like it.
I'm not too well versed on Maiden, to be honest. We mentioned Megadeth.
Was Napalm Death 80s?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
God, that was fucking extreme for its time.
Yeah.
Like, what was death metal doing around that time? I don't even know.
Napalm Death.
Because we
Just
mentioned
Napalm Death.
we mentioned Venom, but they weren't really like super heavy. Like grindcore, Napalm Death, fucking heavy, were they?
You've got to think, like, back in 1980, that was when Saxon released Wheels of Steel,
Yeah.
which is still fucking heavy now.
I love Saxon.
Anyway, you always throw your arms up at Saxon.
It's just a thing.
You need to explain that.
We can't. I don't even know the
Saxon.
reason.
It's because it was so...
Saxon.
Please stop.
We went to see Saxon at Download, and they were just awesomely epic. And
They're one of the loudest bands I've ever seen live.
And every time he said we're Saxon, everyone just threw their arms up in the air. So
It's just stuck.
it's just stuck. So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Let's
get onto our game.
Let's get
then.
onto our game then.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
This
Ska.
week we got ska, and we kind of spread it out to ska punk as well, didn't we?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
yeah, who's going first?
Not me, because I can't even remember the name of the band. I
Okay,
picked.
I don't
All
mind.
right, all right. Fish you can go.
Mine's a British band formed in 2002. They are called Random Hand. I don't know if they're.
Oh, yeah, I've heard these. Yeah.
Oh, have you? I'd
Oh.
never heard of them before today. Don't know if they're big, small, heavily
Medium.
influenced by. Well, if they've influenced others. I've never seen the name come up at any sort of.
But you like it.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
You can hear it.
So yeah, Tales of Intervention.
We're just people on the move, and borders don't mean anything when people can't connect, and we have nothing to prove. Now the tales of intervention coming from the sky illuminate.
Sound like Ailstorm.
It's all about the trumpets.
Another good trumpet.
They just kind of mix it up a bit with heavier choruses without any trumpets or anything like that. The verses generally is that clean guitar, typical ska stuff, and yeah, they just vary it up a bit throughout their songs. They're not just totally one track. Yeah, they were the best thing I discovered out of all the bands I listened to today. So
Yeah, man, I think for me, like you know exactly what you're getting with ska punk.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff I found that just sounded a lot like Real Big Fish or Less Than Jake, and I think with those two bands, you can't really write ska without slightly ripping them off a little bit.
Yeah.
So
It's got trumpet.
yeah, so no, that was them. They were all right. Not bad.
Alright.
Not bad at all.
What was it called? Random Hand.
Random Hand, yeah.
Random Hand. There you go. Who wants to go next?
I went with a band called the Holophonics.
Oh yes.
Oh, I've heard them. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yep. I'm just saying it now. Yeah, I've heard them. Yeah.
Ska expert over
Yeah.
there.
It was the song I've got is called "You're Not the Specials." That I went with.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's off their 2015 album "Don't Mess with the Holophonics," and if this is the clip I remember picking, basically this song is about how they don't see themselves as being any different from any other ska punk band out there, and they're just doing what everyone else is doing because they enjoy
Yeah,
it.
because it was You're Not Special, and
Yeah.
the S was in brackets.
Yeah.
Was in like
Yeah, you're not special.
yeah.
Come on, give it a play.
All right.
Come on and pick it up, come on and join the club. I kinda think we've heard this all before, it's like 1998. But we're all less famous and all my friends, we don't give a shit. Yeah, cause trends got two-tone, third wave, it's all the same. We're all the same.
Very self-aware. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole song is just them poking fun at themselves and any
Yeah.
other band that sounds like them. They know that they're not taking themselves
Yeah.
seriously.
Fair enough.
Very less than Jake, that.
Very.
Very Goldfinger, I thought.
Yeah.
Mind you.
And I can just see
It's all
myself having a
similar.
beer to that.
Yeah.
I think like the tropes of ska are very hand in hand with reggae and that kind of like offbeat, like that kind of
Yeah.
rhythm, and then you've got like the ska punk vocals, which are kind of like, I guess, a little bit raspy, and then you've got the trumpets, which is a big part of it. So I really tried. I struggled for a long time to find something a bit different. I didn't know we were going ska punk. I thought we were just going ska.
Well, it was
Yeah.
the whole
So
whole thing.
I was
really.
trying to do the opposite of that and just say, let's find something really different. It took me a long time to find something different. And this album, so I found a band called the Kubricks, and the song is called D is for Danger, from the album The Heist. But this album has got a whole bunch of different stuff. Like it's ska, it's reggae, but it's kind of contemporary in a way. But this song, I picked this section because it just made me laugh, because it sort of goes into a bit of like, it's like an EDM build up to a drop with like some annoying like chipmunk vocals and kind of like what you're expecting. You can imagine it being like a dirty fucking song in a dance club, but with trumpet instead. So see if you know what I mean when you hear it.
Yeah. That could do with a really big dubstep breakdown.
I really want to hear that. in a
Ska
club.
step.
Yeah, I just want to.
Fucking hell, creating a genre now.
Just made me laugh, bro. It's quite funny.
Do you know what? I have a sort of flashback to Cambridge Strawberry Fair 2005 of just sitting in the reggae tent,
Yeah.
everybody's smoking loads of weed,
Yeah,
and music like that on in the background, just like completely chilling.
yeah.
Like that's what that reminded me of.
Just to round off like my opinions on ska, because I don't really listen to it very much, is that it's fucking great in that environment. But if you're ever in a bad mood, don't put on ska. Like you think that it would cheer you up, but it's just like the most irritating thing you've ever heard. Who's next?
Alright, yeah, it's me then. I went with a band called Last Edition. They are very new, and I got to give credit to Carl for this one, really. He went to see Real Big Fish, Anti-Flag,
Mad Caddies.
Mad Caddies, and these in Leicester.
Yeah.
And said the tickets were a tenner.
That was last Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
A tenner?
A tenner, yeah. Real
That's
Big Fish and all that, yeah.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, he said they're really good. I had to listen. I listened through their album actually, and this song's called "A Fist for the Scar." They are a sax-driven, upbeat, energetic, third-wave ska punk quartet from Leicester.
Of course they are.
So
Fucking try saying that when you're pissed.
Shuffle on over to me, cause Scar was designed for two. I've been to every single record store, but nothing less than ever do. We were right place at the right time. Who'd have thought this would last a lifetime? And we spent our time talking of better things.
yeah,
I quite like that.
they weren't too bad.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Does Rob Smith win the game?
Yeah, I won the game. Yeah, they got a new album out. They're on tour. The new album's called Best Foot Forward. So all your Scar fans, have a listen to that.
Any ska listeners?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, one. We got one.
Carl.
Two then, maybe Rob as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. Next week, or how many weeks we decide, about the game. We want to try and get in touch with newer bands, underground bands, unsigned bands, to do the game with. So if anyone listening there with a new band or unsigned band,
or you know someone in a band.
someone in a band.
Send some music
send
our
us a
way.
leak and we'll do the game on new bands. And
I've been thinking about making the game as we move out of, eventually run out of genres, eventually. Turning this into like a undiscovered spot of like sort of underground bands, or just bands that we think need a bit of exposure that we'd like to bring to the table to just to recommend to each other and stuff. So we're still doing it. We're still discovering music, but it's not like psytrance fucking.
So we're just going to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
We haven't
back onto black metal.
Have we done metalcore?
I don't think we have.
That's mad.
We haven't actually done metal.
We've completed it though, mate.
Yeah,
we've probably just completed it.
Yeah,
completed.
I
Probably
think
pointless.
I think we need to do
I think we need to.
our favourite metal cover.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Favorite metal cover.
Yeah, I think that needs to be done.
Okay. All right.
Is there anything we're ruling out as being too obvious?
Wow. Not off the top of my head, no.
We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Maybe Bottoms Hit Me Baby one more time.
But yeah,
But yeah, we will come back.
unsigned, undiscovered, new. Give us your shit.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's get into All Killer.
All
then.
Killer.
Yeah. So last week we had yours, which was
Yes.
Chuck.
Was Chuck by
Oh,
Sum
let's have a little
41.
Yeah. Let's briefly go over this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this album before. I was quite looking forward to going back to it again because I hadn't heard it in a very long time. And personally, I think it still stands up. I think it really does showcase what that band are capable of. Now I've gone back and listened to it, I actually think some of their heavier stuff is better than the more upbeat stuff that they're known for.
Totally agree.
I think they could, if they wanted to, they could just go down that metal path. They're actually quite a diverse band in what they can do. I just think this was a really good album to mix that up. Yes, it still stands up for me. I still really enjoy that album. And I think it's like the sound on it is really good as well. Great album.
I disagree that it's a All Killer. I think it's good. I think there's definitely a few songs I'll skip on it. The heavier stuff, like the first two tracks, are pretty fucking relentless. I like that. And what song is it? The one, the bitter end, the one that's very Metallica.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell! Like, wear your influences on your sleeve. Like, you weren't kidding about that, were you? Like, it actually felt like it was a Metallica cover by the end of it. Like, riff by riff, it's like a slight variation.
That riff at the end. Is definitely.
I was like, fucking hell. But where it falls off for me is there's a couple of ballads on there.
What was that Oasis? That Oasis
some
sound.
say slipping away. It's his vocal delivery that comes off a bit Liam Gallagher. But I don't mind those too much. It's not that bad. And then it was I'm Not the One and Pieces towards the end of the album.
Oh really?
They do this I don't know if you know what I mean, but like 4-chord song structure. And I'm not sure whether it's just like the years of playing with like unsigned bands around the country and stuff, but it's a chord progression that every beginner guitarist does when they start writing music. And if I hear it in rock, metal, pop, anything, when I hear that, it makes me cringe because I hear it everywhere. And they do it in 2 songs, like almost back to back at the end of this album, and it's just like, no, it's like, it's one of those things where you know what the next chord's going to be. It's like, it's so predictable. But having said that, I can forgive them for that because it just seems like they're trying to experiment on this at this point in their career. Like, I think they've ironed that out, and the newest stuff on that recent album, they've not bothered, and they've gone heavier and pop punk. So, I just disagree that it's an All Killer, but there's some great moments on there as well. And when they shred, I think they're fucking great. So.
I thought the first few notes, when you said about the battery thing, I'd forgotten which bit you were referring to, but the actual very, very first notes on this album sounded similar to the battery intro on Master of Puppets. I don't know if that's the bit you were referring to.
You kind of skipped over that, didn't you? The intro of the album.
Like the clean.
That you just said like
that.
generic intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, good. Really liked it. like that fusion of thrash, thrash punk kind of. But I like that they can go serious.
They've definitely got it in.
Yeah, and it just surprised me because you say Sum 41 to me, and instantly I'm thinking in too deep, fat lip, motivation, like a silliness.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realise they had this in their locker, which was nice. It was nice to hear that.
Definitely a more mature.
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. All good. That one bit perhaps didn't like was that like once Danny had mentioned it was that Oasis kind of sounding bit.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't pointed it out, but yeah, overall impressive album.
Awesome.
And it's nice to hear that a band of that style can just switch it up and just drop that on you.
Yeah.
Like, there's some genuinely good riffs and fast and furious sections in there that really get you going, you know. So yeah, happy with that. Good choice.
Good choice, Rob Smith.
Good choice. What have you got for us, Leesk?
Right. This is one of my favourite albums of all time. It's
All time?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's an album that I think you've all heard already. So unfortunately I'm not bringing anything new to the table for you, but any excuse to listen to this album is a good excuse. That album is Low Teens by Every Time I Die.
Oh, sweet.
I mean,
I've not heard it.
Have you not? Oh, Rob Smith, you are in for a treat, my friend.
See, I just have a really hard time picking a favourite Every Time I Die album. But I can see why you went with this, yeah.
This is one of those rare occasions, I think, where you can look at a band's back catalogue and go, actually, your best album is your most recent one. Because there are so many bands that you can look at and go, oh, well, it's a good album, but it's not that album, or it's not that album. This, they've released it, and it's just fucking relentless. Like, and it's quite a diverse album. I mean, it only came out, last year?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
It's a recent one.
Yeah. And if you listen to the the extended one, it's like 15 tracks long, so it's quite a bulky album.
See, that's the thing. I thought that was the actual length of the album, and I was going to suggest that it's a bit over bloated because of that. Because I remember getting through it going, 15 tracks, I could have just shaved a few more off that.
I think the last two tracks on the album are probably the weakest ones. I can see why they're bonus tracks, but everything else on there, I mean, it opens with Fear and Trembling, and it starts with quite a slow but heavy opening, and it gets faster as the song goes on. When it gets to the chorus of that song, it's not so much out of time, but it's doing what Every Time I Die do best, and it's keeping you off balance, really. They're not a predictable band by any stretch of the imagination, and that first track really lets you know what you're in for with the rest of the album. Then you have got Glitches, which is much faster. There's there's a really heavy section, and there's like this really small thrashy drum fill that just sort of comes out of nowhere, and it's unnecessary. It doesn't need to be there, but you're just like, yeah, you do that,
you guys.
Yeah. Then you've got C++.
I don't think I've heard anything.
Seriously,
You may have heard The Coin Has a Say.
I'll be very surprised if you haven't. When I was writing these notes, I nearly put for like every song, I was just like, his lyrics in it, but I thought there's no point because I've never known anyone to write lyrics like he does. It's just, some of them are weird as shit, but he's very, very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Lots of metaphors and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely an album you will want to have the lyrics up for at some point after you've listened to it a couple of times. But I mean, C++, it's got a line in it where he just says, "The sun is out cold," and it's just, he just fucking belts that out with nothing else going on. And you're just like, holy shit, okay. You've got Two Summers,
Probably my favourite on the album, this song, actually.
What, Two Summers?
Easily one of them. There's like a breakdown. Well, I say a breakdown. It's like an open, sort of stabbed section towards the end with cowbell.
I was
And
gonna,
just,
yeah.
and he just
God, I love the cowbell.
Yeah,
Well,
but
there's
it's just so like unnecessary again, but
So
necessary.
There's
It's
this
like,
bit where I think it's after one of the choruses, and he just hits the cowbell twice, and it's the most obnoxious use of cowbell you've ever fucking heard. Like, it doesn't need to be there. You just like, what? It's just a really fun song. It's just really upbeat. I mean, after that, you've got Awful Lot, which is really quite chuggy, and where he's belting out it is that song, I think, where he's belting out Barbarians just over that fucking riff. It's just, yeah, it is just punishing. It really is. You've got I didn't want to join your stupid cult anyway.
I love their song names, man.
Yeah, it's just
You never
again.
forget Underwater Bimbos from Outer Space.
Yeah,
What album's that on? X Lives, yeah.
yeah.
Fucking great song name.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to join your stupid cult anyway. It's just really heavy, really chuggy. After that, you've got It Remembers, which that opening riff is just really sleazy. It's just a really sleazy sounding song. Like it's heavy, but it's, I don't know. I can't even describe it. It's one of those songs you just got to listen to, and you just be like, this is really dirty. Yeah. It's amazing. Petal, which is, I think that's probably more like their old stuff. I don't know whether you've heard any of Every Time I Die's older stuff. No, you are going into this blind, aren't you?
First
I'm
time
kinda
I
envious of
heard Every Time I Die was download.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Mate. But you said you really enjoyed it, Dan, didn't you?
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
cool.
I mean,
Oh man, you've got a whole fucking back.
Petal might
Oh,
throw you
jeez.
off a little bit, because it is a lot like their older stuff, and it's very. It's got some weird time signatures in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They always have, but they're not weird enough to be like that, like off-putting. It's kind of ever so subtle. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just the way they write their riffs. They're always in like 3, 4 or something like that. It just sort of cycles round. It's like it's not Dillinger tech. It's just kind of like subtle tech that makes you kind of throws you off center a little bit.
I mean, after that, you've got The Coin Has a Say,
Oh,
which is a fucking phenomenal song.
that's my favourite off the album.
After that first
those
verse
lyrics.
finishes and it kicks into that riff that's just so fucking heavy, it catches you off guard, and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Something about Metallica without the drugs.
yeah, so I can't go back to what I was, Metallica without the drugs. And it's basically,
Once a ladder, now a crutch.
yeah, it's basically about how there's no place for a hollow man.
Yeah, is that where he screams like, "I'll aimlessly wander this wasteland"?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like laying it all out there.
So heavy. Like Religion of Speed. The chorus is just so catchy in that, and it goes really slow down and chuggy towards the end. Their songs change so much, and like his vocal transitions as well, from where he's singing to screaming. It's just, yeah, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. I mean, I'm not going to go through the rest of the songs on it because there are a lot, but my personal favourite and one of the best songs that they've ever written.
Map change.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it is.
Not heard it.
Great fucking video for this song as well.
Yeah. Map Change is probably, I would say, it's the most mature song they've written. And I find it very difficult. Well, I have found it very difficult in the past to pick a favourite song by this band, because I really like the party stuff they do, like the new Black, Werewolf. You can't not enjoy it.
Oh,
But-
I've heard Werewolf.
Excellent.
Well done.
But then you've got tracks like Wanderlust,
Yes.
which is fucking
easily
phenomenal.
one of their best songs, isn't it?
What was the album before Low Teens? That was.
Oh fuck me! I've got the artwork in my head. Yeah, I know. I'll get it for you, but carry on.
My favourite track on there is More.
From Parts Unknown.
That's it. The track on there, More,
Yeah.
which is so weird. It's not anything like they've done before. And I heard that and was like, no, this is my favourite Every Time I Die track.
It's more the one with the like obnoxiously
the-
loud keyboard single hit.
Yeah, the one about his wife getting mugged.
Yeah.
And then I heard this album, I heard Map Change, and it's got some of the best lyrics he's ever written, I think. and when it starts to get really heavy, where he says about hell is a place, and it's just it just comes out of nowhere, like fucking hell. And towards the end, it just builds up and it gets really epic.
Yeah, I think that song it ends on the like the chorus chords that are being played on the guitar. Like all the music cuts out and it just plays the guitar parts by themselves.
Yeah,
adding all this reverb and it just sort of fades out. It's just like
that's where he ends it with I'm a ghost and yet I've weighed down the earth.
yeah.
I cannot love this album enough. I will never get bored of listening to this album.
You could take it at face value and just listen to it, but then I think it's also worth, like you say, listening to with the lyrics as well.
Yeah.
Just give it a couple of listens first and then do it with the lyrics, because it's and if you enjoy it, definitely go back and listen to the rest of their back catalogue.
Yeah, I've got some listening to do. By the
You
sound of it.
really have. But yeah,
How have I missed these? How have these guys slipped through the cracks?
Because they're not so conventional. But
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel that way hearing you say that, but then there's a lot of bands that you guys have mentioned, like American Head Charges, I just never really heard. But they've got a lot of albums. I mean, what would you say this is your favourite album? Wasn't it?
yeah, this is my
Yeah.
favourite Every Time I Die album. But Gutter Phenomenon is fantastic.
Yeah,
The Big Dirty is fantastic.
yeah.
New
Junk Aesthetics.
yeah.
All of them, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
X Lives.
Yeah.
they've got a lot, actually.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got quite extensive.
They've kind of just got like excessively heavy as they've gone on. They've not like really ever, apart from the Big Dirty when they went a little bit more southern groove based.
Yeah, you will love that album.
Yeah.
That's right up your street.
cool.
But, yeah.
That's the one with Werewolf on. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, Werewolf Group.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Lots of riffs like that on the album.
Has it?
Yeah.
Low Teens, amazing.
Low Teens by
Every time I die.
Awesome. All
Right.
right, I'll listen to that in a moment.
Cool, that's us done then.
Wicked.
Cool. That's been fun. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Yeah.
As always, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the BC Pod. Give us a like on Facebook if you like it. Give us a like on the YouTube, or give it a dislike if you don't like it.
Give us
Who
a
cares?
share. Maybe a share.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a
And
share.
Send us your new stuff. Send us new stuff.
Send us your shit.
Ding our bells.
Send us your shit.
Ding our bells. Right, cool.
Cool. Right,
Cool.
take it easy.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.